Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the League of Inches podcast, Supercoach edition tonight. Look, let's get straight to it in tonight's episode. I really want to just break it down. I want to have a chat live on air about a few things that have really gotten to me the last few weeks. There's a reason why tonight's episode is called the Sabotage edition. Now, there's plenty that listen to this, plenty in our Legends chat. Plenty in other chats that we're in. We talk daily about Supercoach. We talk, we banter, we do all that thing. But one thing I've really noticed the last couple of weeks, and I'll go around the room, I'll see if anyone else has noticed similar, but the fact that I've gone downhill at a rapid rate. Trav seems to not be making much moves at all, and he's scoring quite decently. But there's a guy in this room who is giving all this just recommendations, and he's got everything down pat. The Supercoach brain over here, who's skyrocketing up our ranks as we speak. It's great for the page. It's fantastic. But mate, Jesse, I'm calling this the Sabotage. I think you're doing this on purpose because there's been a couple of moves I've wanted to make recently. You talked me out of one big one, and I'm just going to say what it is. I think, hang on, can I please finish speaking before you rudely interrupt us? Thank you very much.
Go on.
It's very convenient that I was up in the 2000 rank, sitting pretty, the gladiator, here I am, and now I'm starting to eat peanuts off the floor of Lone Star, which isn't ideal at all. Peanut shells, by the way, not the actual peanut. Trav, just first of all, I just want to know about you as well, because I feel like you're a little bit flat tonight. It might be a touchy subject, but are you okay? Like, am I overstepping the mark here?
No, I don't think you are. I'm feeling it too. I'm certainly feeling it too. And there's been no chat about this prior. This has solely just come up from, because I can have a look here and see hashtag coming for you, Jesse. And in the back of my mind, I went, wavelengths, Joel, wavelengths, because we do live a distance away. Know exactly what you're talking about. I know where we're going.
Rip the Band-Aid off, boys. Come on.
And to be fair, I've actually got people in my messages saying some similar things too. So,
yeah.
Do you? That's interesting.
It's convenient. The week where he has a big jump is the week he couldn't feature live on air last week either.
Yeah,
he was having internet issues.
Convenient.
So, very convenient over here. Jesse,
Jesus Christ.
We haven't seen you for a couple of weeks. You're skyrocketing up the ranks. How's things?
Yeah, good. It was always going to be the way. It was really never in doubt. So I don't know what you're so worried about. Your unfortunate demise and friggin' falling off a cliff was very well expected. And anyone that thinks otherwise is, got rocks in their brain, like you like to say.
In their head.
Mate, that's the one. I was always going to finish ahead of you. And I said, enjoy your time on top, the 2 weeks that it'll be, because it's not going to last long. And so we're just going to backtrack because there was quite a bit of slander last week. I did have a technical issue. I was glitching out and I said I couldn't do it. It was very unfortunate, but I was in the Legends group chatting away with some of the people in there. It wasn't that I didn't want to be here. It wasn't that I was doing some other sneaky stuff on the side. Mate, all my moves are very well broadcasted. I talk about what I'm doing, nothing sneaky, and I haven't recommended anyone that hasn't done, what I would have done at the same time. So please enlighten us.
No, Jesse, but that's not the point, right? We know what you're doing. The point of what we're trying to say here is what you're telling everyone else to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's that?
That's the point.
Is Joel still salty about his thing where I told him, get Turbo out of your flex?
That's call a spade a spade. You're sabotaging us.
Go on.
I'm not talking about anyone else in the Supercoach universe that listens to you.
Okay, so you went on your own for once, and you decided to do this mastermind
trade
and
brought in. This week.
You brought in Adam Reynolds.
This week.
That was on you.
Hey,
it's my fault. You're plummeting.
Money.
Come on now.
Cash money.
I love this start to a pod. This is red hot. Get the blood pumping.
Oh, anyway, we'll move on because I'm sure this will come up a few times throughout the podcast.
Hilarious.
But anyway, we're on to you, Jesse. Just a word of warning.
Yeah.
We are on to you. So just
coming for you.
A few are as well. They've been messaging Trav thoroughly, and they're on to you as well. So
yeah, that's why they message me, because they trust me. They know that I'm sitting where I'm sitting, and I'm giving genuine neutral advice. When they talk to Jesse, they know they're just getting a little bit of whatever. I don't want. I'm worried. I look at that team and I can see that that's probably a bit of a challenge to me. So I won't give him just that exact a bit of information, or he might lie. See, it's other things too. Like we know Jesse's an incredibly intelligent person, right? Isn't he?
Yeah.
Incredibly
Very,
intelligent.
very.
Yeah, calculator in his head. But when
Appreciate
he gets a figure wrong, we know why now. It's not because he got it wrong, because there's no excuse for that. It's because he's an asshole.
Oh, this is great.
Jesse, talk to us. Let's get yours out of the way. How'd your week go?
You know what? It was, in comparison to some of the scores I've seen, it's actually quite good, but I wasn't super happy with it until I kind of looked at the leagues around me and thought, oh shit, that's not bad. I scored 1144. I captained Turbo as well, so it could have been a lot better. But either way, I saw green this week now, which is nice. I went up 509 spots, ranked 1,615. So getting close to those triple digits again, which is really nice. Or double digits again would be even better. But team value is 13.778, so it's quite dear now. Every player last week saw green. I didn't see one player lose any coin. So almost 14 mil overall. Definitely going to be over that, maybe 14 and a half by next week, which is really good. Team's sitting pretty, really strong. I don't really have any holes. I haven't had any major injuries as well, which has been quite lucky besides Turbo. Like I didn't have any of the Skeleton or RTS or any of those sort of dud picks that, whoever decided to pick them. Joel, that's half your issue. Didn't have them. So I kind of got lucky, but either way, Captain Turbo, is what it is. Everyone did it. Well, majority did. I think 50% in the top one did. So all feeling the sting, but yeah, not doing too bad. But I am ripping through trades. So yeah, it's paying off early days. See if it lasts.
I'd be very careful coming at me, mate. Just be very, very careful, because there's a rumor floating around about you. I wasn't going to address it on air, but you've basically forced my hand. You got a gun to my head.
Go on.
There is reports around at the moment that on the weekend you were seen in Darling Harbour with Supercoach NRL HQ, Tommy Sangster and co. Fine dining, and there was talk that some inside discussions were happening. There is some photo evidence that we won't show on air just because of privacy issues. Can you address those rumors at all?
Yeah, I can actually. It was mainly I called a meeting with him because I was really angry about Gutho losing his try assist. So I sat him down and I said, "Listen here, mate, Tommy. Come on, give him back. Give it back to him." And he did. He did, for the people too. It wasn't just for me; it was for the people. So. Yeah.
How about that? That went. He got it off, got it back. Oh goodness me, an absolute schmozzle of a 20-minute period there. I'll go next. Save the best for last. I know he at least outscored me this week. I got 1,053. Very poor week. So much went wrong. I got this. This is how bad it got for me in my team. I ended up having to play Royce Hunt as a last choice reserve. It was that bad. So my team was just, it wasn't good. My season rank now, that dropped me 5,000 spots on the weekend. I'm now 10,909. The whole team value thing, I'm 13,083,000. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's because I made a couple of things. So.
Interesting.
That's where I'm sitting. Trav,
I got 1,082. So 30 points more than you, Joel, and 62 points less than you, Jesse.
29 actually.
And whatever. I actually dropped 2,727 ranks. So
how that's happened.
Yeah, isn't it?
Honestly, I really don't.
I'm pretty dumbfounded by that. I actually, to be fair, I was looking at the scores through all the different groups. I'm maxed out all my leagues. I'm in some leagues that's got plenty of over a few thousand members and overall groups and stuff like that. One of them is I think it's the Beers and Break-Evens group, and there's the 4 of the top 10 in that group. And I looked at my scores opposed to some of these guys, and I wasn't that far away. I just wasn't that far away. So I kind of thought, right, being around 30K, this is a good one to just see green arrows again, and I'll rise a bit. And no, I I saw Reds 2,727 of them. So yeah, I dropped away. I'm just, it's dumbfounding. Like I haven't done a really in-depth look at that. I look at my team and I feel like my team's loaded. My team value is pretty good. I'm at 13, just a tick under 13.5 mil. So I think my team value is really nice. I've got most of the cheapies. The only cheapie I missed out on before going into last week was Tamale. And that was because I just wanted to get points on the board and get guns instead of going cheapy. So I missed out on him. I also then last week chose not to get Nicholson because I wanted to get Haas and Tino and prioritize that instead of going the cheapy route. So I wanted the points. But other than that, like I've got all the cheapies nailed. I'm not sitting there floating with a Royce Hunt in my fourth FRF and stuff like that lots of people are. So like Joel, you're not alone in that situation. There's lots of people sitting in that rate. I've got enough and I'm happy to have that enough. I've got Hubner coming back this week. So I'm just looking at everything, just thinking my team's good. Like I'm in a really good place. So is this one of those things where I sit here at that 30K rank and, by the end of the year, I am top 5K. Like maybe that's just a slow, so this is just the way it is. I don't know. I probably need to sit down a little bit more and have a really good look through the lists and have a look at team values and just see what everyone's got and what everyone's doing as to why I drop ranks and things. I've got another example. Someone in our Legends group scored 1,000. I think it was a tick, just like really close to 1,200. It was at 1,190 or something, ranked in the 60K, and that score is huge, and only rose 6,000 spots to get to 60K.
Yeah, wow.
like to me, though, I'm just looking at that thinking, like, what's going on? Yeah, I don't know. I'm just, I need to sit down and have a bit of a look at the numbers, which is something I can do over the next few weeks. But yeah, it's just a bit of an odd way it is.
Yeah,
sounds like Jesse's got to have another meeting with Supercoach HQ.
Yeah, I do, because it's just I don't understand it honestly. Like I'm guessing the ladder must have sections. Like there must be different sections of the rankings where different congestions and scores are. Because like to be ranked, 2,100 and go up, the percentage that I did, not just the number, but the overall percentage. I went up 509 spots at rank 2,000. Like what for 60 more points? Like it's just unusual. But I imagine like the people ahead of me must have dropped, and then the people behind me mustn't have caught up. I don't know. I really don't know. They are what they are. But how many points have you scored overall? Like, what's your total score?
Total is 4,631, which is just under 600 short of. It's just under 600 short of top spot. Top spot's 5,249. So even 600 points at this point at the end of round 4 isn't that far away. No, it's really not that far away. Like, I get it. I pump out a couple of good scores over the next few weeks, and I'm right back up there again. So like, I'm not too worried about it. The total points in the top score is driving me crazy. Karaz 5,249. That person got 1,162 points on the weekend.
Yeah, and he was already in the top 5 too, so he's done well. I'm 284 points off that. And I look at 284 points, and I'm like, you can do that in a week. Yeah. Like, that's just a really good week.
And so just under 600 for me. So it's not that far.
It's still so tight, man. Plus, there's 23 rounds to go. Like, I wouldn't be super worried about it, but you don't want to be sitting, 30K when, things start getting into Origin. It's a bit hairy.
Big ballsy play starts to happen. That's what happens then. So let's get into it. Let's get into some TLT action, shall we? So first up, the Raiders versing the Sharkies. For the Raiders, Trey Mooney drops to the reserves with Morgan Smithies returning via the bench. And keep an eye on this one. Jed Stewart, Ricky Stewart's son, has been named on the reserve. So now with Hopewadi's injury out for the year, he becomes probably the next up in the back line when there is an injury. So just keep an eye on that if down the track. Next couple of weeks, there's a chance to another injury or something to the back line for the Raiders. Could be having Chevy
Stewart. I thought it was Chevy Stewart that was his son.
I really wanted to do that. Oh, I love
Yeah.
that you did that. I really wanted to do it last night in the TLT, and I had a whole lineup for it. Shout out to Jake, our man.
Love you, Jake.
I really wanted to do it, and I didn't. I just thought, no, I'll keep it to myself this time. But
Give him one night off. So. For the
Love
Sharkies,
it.
the big one here. Kyle Iro is out, and Sifa Talakai as well. Marwini Hiroti is starting in the centres, while Tom Hazleton takes the spot on the bench. Boys,
Also,
anything to add to this one? Yes.
Teague Wilton. Teague Wilton's been dropped or injured.
Ooh,
I saw late mail come through that big old X right in his name, and
yes.
he's been replaced by Billy
Billy
Burns. So I'm
Burns.
not sure. I don't know what happened to Teague Wilton. I didn't think he was doing bad. If it was a dropping, there's got to be injury surely, because that's a big one. But Wilton's actually been quite solid. So
Yeah, that has to be an injury then. We'll try and find something there and maybe post it to the Legends chat at some point. But yeah, we'll work that one out. But anything else to touch on for this game?
Nah, not particularly.
Wilton's only
We'll get
owned
into
by
it all, but
1%.
yeah, nothing massive.
It's not really going to affect anybody.
Kyle Iro, though, he was flying.
Yeah.
He was the man. Honestly, I had him on my radar. There was a fella that was
Me
asking me
too.
about some trade stuff. I said, get Kyle Iro in as fast as possible. And he's dead.
To be
He's
fair,
it
he's still
worked
got
out.
60 odd points in
He
one
got
half.
67 in less than half.
I
Like,
know. Yeah, it was
freaking
40
freak.
minutes. Insane. He's just been flying. But yeah, 3 to 6 weeks? Hamstring?
Yeah, they're saying 3 to 6. Yeah.
Damn shame. Massive shame.
So he's a trade out. Yeah, that is a massive shame and a massive pod. Hey, so that fella had to do that because he captained Cleary accidentally for his massive 2 and didn't drop any ranks that week. So because we advised him to get Iro saved his ass that weekend. So
well.
and the thing is, Iro's 4% owned, averaging 80.5 in 4 games, 60, 111, 85, 60 foot 1. Like, dude's a freak. I'll be getting him in when he comes back.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, paying big dollars for him too, though.
725.
And the thing is, like, he scored really well. Like, he didn't score poorly to get injured and have a bad break even. Like, the 60 is decent. You just
his
buy him
break
for what
even
he is.
78, man. Like, he can
Yeah,
get that.
he'll hit that. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, you're not going to get anything too bad. Just buy him when he's back.
Yeah.
Around Origin time, having Iro and Karazi my team is going to look really nice. So.
Heaven.
Next game up, Penrith versus the Cowboys. For the Panthers, Cleary returns, obviously the side at halfback. Toe injured, Casey McLean takes his spot. Sorensen is out with concussion, saying Papa Le'i starting at 11. Look out, Jesse. Your boys finally got a start. And Eisenhuth joins the bench for the Cowboys. Unchanged team after their first win of the season against the Raiders. Anything to talk about now, or we'll talk a bit more about, I guess, the talking points for this one later on?
There's a lot to talk about with the Panthers at the moment, so we'll probably hit him. Yeah, later on.
Hit him now or wait?
Do you want to hit him now?
Let's wait. We'll get through TLT and let's get back to it. Keep the viewers in. Keep the viewers in and the listeners. Next run up, the Rabbitohs versus the Roosters. So for the Bunnies, Latrell Mitchell is back, named at centre, which means Jai Gray keeps his spot at fullback and very well deserved. This pushes Tass to the wing in place of Johnston, who is out once again. With Hubner back in, Duncan reverts back to the bench, and LeBlanc to the reserves. For the Roosters, Collins starts at prop with Spencer off the bench. Watson back at 9 as well, pushing Docker Clay to the bench, and Savala out. Butcher at 13 for Radley, who is out for concussion protocols as well. So, and just be careful. I think he's been on it last couple of weeks. I feel like pushing Collins to the bench before they sort of kick off anyway. So see that and just keep an eye on that one as well. Yeah.
Then you'll start like you did last week.
Yeah. Collins has dropped off a bit. No, not
he has.
Well, obviously, massively. I don't know what's going on.
Back.
Hubner's back's huge.
Hubner back. Tempted to play him too against the Roosters.
Good shout. He's been so solid. Like, you honestly can't knock his game. He's a freaking worker. That's the thing too. Like, he's one of those really good cheapies that we started off with, and obviously 2 weeks suspension. 4 weeks in, you kind of just forget how decent he actually was in that holder plug. We're trying to find Purdue or Toya or all these center wing cheapies to fill a spot with. Hubner's a great shot. I reckon he's a comfortable 45, 50 a week. if you have to find it. But obviously, the elephant in the room, freaking Latrell, center. That's huge.
Yeah, don't touch him yet for Supercoach.
Nah, absolutely
Do
not.
not touch
Not
him.
for me.
But it
Props
is
to Jai
massive. It's huge, Jai Gray as well. I have seen a couple of shouts, and I actually don't mind it for Task now outside of Latrell. Could be a sneaky to bag a couple of tries as well. So Latrell obviously will attract the defenders, including probably the winger, who will try and come in and help get the big man down. Well, he's not that big at the moment. He's very, very fit by the looks of things. So, but who knows? That could open up for Task to have a sneaky few tries, which could mean good things for super coaches as well.
Just depends on how long AJ's out for now. I think he had a rib injury, wasn't it? Because I saw his bloody shoulder look like it almost exploded out, and then they said he's just got a rib injury.
And
But
Campbell Graham.
Yeah, well, he's out for another 3 weeks, so there's going to be a big shuffle in the back. So to see how long Latrell stays as a centre, probably 3 weeks, I'd imagine. But it's enough time to get Jewel. That's the big campaign, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
If we can get Latrell as a Jewel, holy moly!
I don't think it'll
Don't
happen.
don't they only do the duels in 6-week increments? So round 6, so next week, and then round 12. So
Yeah.
Latrell won't be a duel in 3 weeks' time. He'll be a duel in week
No.
12.
Yeah, exactly. He'll be a Jewel by round 12 if he gets his 3 games at centre. So
Yeah.
that's all we can hope for. It looks like it's going to happen, though. I don't see why it wouldn't. Not with the losses,
Yeah.
but again, I don't know. I don't know if I'd be jumping on Tass at the moment.
For the next game, the Eels taking on the Dragons. For the Eels, Riley Smith, his first career start, sees Lussick drop out through injury. Dylan Walker named at 14 for his first game in the Eels colours. Moretti comes back with Geimer out, and Simonson named in the reserve. So keep an eye on him. He's due back very, very shortly, no doubt about it. Probably in place of Sean Russell would be my tip there. For the Dragons, Clement to start alongside Toby Couchman as Gould is out with suspension. Laurie joins the bench. They're in the only change after a great win against the Melbourne Storm. Anything to touch on here, boys? One thing I'll say quickly, just Gutho was fantastic on the weekend, and just one of those examples where how you can be so good in NRL wise, and the Supercoach points just don't translate, unfortunately. He was everywhere.
Yeah, he was everywhere. Yeah, he saved 3 tries. He was left to right. He was just freaking everything. It was so good to watch. And then you see his score, and without that try assist, it was 30 points. You're like, oh, that sucks a little bit, but the effort's there though. That's the thing. Like, it's so good to see how much effort, like with that, points will come naturally. So, yeah, I'll take the 47 against bad conditions.
It's just one of those weeks, man. Weather footy, really. It was just literally one of those weeks. He was the second or third last passer towards a try, but he was basically the reason why the try happened. He just didn't get the try assist. He wasn't the last receiver in a couple of opportunities. He got skipped a couple of times, whereas he could have got the try. He was thereabouts, but he literally just did what he had to do to go and win that game. So he was immense.
And he almost scored his own one too. It was freaking leg in the way. I was like, oh, so close. So, that could have been 70, 75, 80 points almost. So look, the points will just naturally come for him in that side.
It's not one of those games where like Pappenhausen or a Walsh kind of disappear for a game and have a stinker. Like, he had a poor points game, but he was everywhere. Which means that, basically it just shows you that he's going to score.
Yeah. I was too busy skull dragging that side to an amazing win, to be fair. So,
and to be fair, I think he could go on a tear this weekend. So, just Riley Smith. I feel like he's a bit of a talking point now. It looks to have that 80-minute spot for many weeks to come. Apparently, Lussick's out for about 6 to 8 weeks, I feel like, and Hands is still in reserve grade. So, any thoughts on Riley Smith, boys?
I think he's a pretty solid downgrade option to a hooker, but realistically, like, I don't know. There's a lot of people that have the cheapy guys at the moment, the Starlings, the Mamazelis, Sandon Smith, that kind of stuff. So if you needed to go hooker down, I don't mind it, to be fair. Like, if he's gonna, I'd want to see what he does with a full 80 minutes. And if it is 80 minutes and, Dylan Walker doesn't spell him and there's a bit of movement around, I still feel like his minutes are going to be great. His fitness is through the roof. So for 234K, like, you really can't go wrong at all. He's going to potentially be an 80-minute hooker. The side's struggling, so you'd imagine tackles, but yeah, there's no knock on it at all. But I just don't know if I'd be, actively trading a hooker to another hooker unless, you need to facilitate funds. But it's a great way to do it.
234, break even of 14, getting his first game as a starter. I'm happy to sit on it and wait and watch. And if your price rises up to 260, 270, it's still good value. Anything under 100 to 300 for this season has been pretty much classed as a cheapie. So I'm pretty happy to get that. And if he does do a good score, he rises 30, 40K, but he gets a really good break even again, and I'll go and buy him at this point in time. So I'm just going to go and wait and see. I really like the fact that I've got the way that I'm going with Starling and Mamazellus. And to be fair, I'm sort of thinking Starling might just sit there and plug away all year, like kind of what Reed Marnie did for me last year. So I'm pretty happy just to sit on that for a little while, unless something happens. Riley plays so well this week that I got to get him in next week.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
You got a couple of weeks
game...
before he's out of reach as a cheapie. So
yeah, for sure. Titans against the Dolphins, a Queensland derby for you, Jesse. I know you love these ones. For the Titans, Sammy Verrills with a hip injury sees Chris Randall to start at hooker. Sean Mullaney at 14 for his debut. Jermaine Jolliffe joins the bench, pushing Isaac Fa'asumaliawi out. And for the Dolphins, Conley Lemuelu starts at second row with Plath to lock for the suspended Gilbert. Sean O'Sullivan named as 18th man, so just keep an eye on that one. Anything for this game, boys? Plath owners will be loving a one game of lock for Plath.
It'll be, isn't it 3 games?
Oh, sorry, yeah, a few, yeah.
Yeah, I reckon if the Dolphins win this game with Plath at lock, I reckon there's got to be some sort of shuffle. Like, they can't keep doing the same thing and putting the same team out and just losing. They're too good a team, really, on paper to look at it. I reckon, if we see a good game from Plath, like Plath, surely. You saw what he did last year at lock. He was a freak. The team there's so much energy with him going on. Like, Gilbert missed 11 tackles last week. There's got to be another spot for him. They've got Kafusi starting in the props. Like, surely Gilbert can cover there if Plath's killing it at lock. Like, I think this will be a big week for him. For Plath to try and stamp his authority on that position, because he owned it last year really well. So yeah, I'd be really happy if I had Plath in my side. I'd be stoked to see what he can do this week. Tino obviously is a weapon. Dave Fafita still can't get a start. I don't understand.
They've been winning.
Yeah, I don't know.
Don't change your winning team.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, look, I'll take the price drops. He's on the radar for a couple of weeks, but only if he's going to start.
Well, he's no chance for Origin. We know Billy's off him. So
yeah, exactly. There's one for Origin.
Good shout. Next one. Happy with that one, boys? Not much to go on.
Nah, not really.
Broncos against the Tigers. So for the Brisbane Broncos, after Ricky's suspension, P. Cura is named to replace him. This sees Jaden Hunt join the bench for his first game of the season. Strong reserves list headed by Tyson Smoothie. They've got some good depth there at the moment. So for the West Tigers, Dewey named at centre despite being scratched before the game last week, with Taruva and Luai suspended. Luke Laulili and Latu Fanu are their replacements. I'll just double check that out. I think. Yeah, no, Taruva's named. So I don't think he has been suspended. So I think that was a little bit of a typo. My apologies.
Taruva? Huh.
Yes.
He is named.
Yep. He is named. Yeah, he's not suspended. Apologies about that. Live on air stuff up.
Whoop. Dewey's still named too. I thought Dewey had a groin injury.
Yeah, he had one last week, but they reckon he's okay at the moment.
He was a late pull-out last week. Surprised, actually, because he played in the halves in preseason. I thought maybe he might have been a sneaky half option this week with Luai out. I thought that might have been a sneaky half option, but if that was the case, I'd be very eager to play him this weekend if I had him.
For sure.
And consider it, but no, he's not. So yeah. Anyways, keep that on the watch.
Latu Finu should be pretty good though. He hasn't had a lot of games, but he's always done a lot with them. So just an interesting watch. Yeah. So Luai's out for 1 week?
Yeah, they're waiting for his shoulder scans to come back though as well. There's a bit of
Mm.
sneaky mail around that it might be a few weeks with that injury, so you don't know.
Yeah, I wonder how the Tigers will go without him. Because, like, Supercoach wise, he's been scoring horrendously. Like, he's so irrelevant for Supercoach right now. But for the Tigers, like, they look a good side.
Yeah.
You'd have to imagine a lot of that's due to him, as part of the
Yeah.
team. But yeah, it'll be very interesting to see how they sort of come up against the Broncos of all teams too, in Suncorp. Without their main halfback. See how much Galvin picks up the weight. But yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting.
Yeah. I think Galvin's a sneaky play this week. Him doing pretty much everything for this team. Back to the old days of you having him, Jesse, just riding him every week, just yeehaw into the sunset.
That's it. My draft
Next game
team,
up.
so
Oh, here we go. I bet you versus me this week. Bet you.
I hope so.
Manly versus the Storm. Still undefeated. Shout out to the draft team for League of Inches. Carrying Div 1 at the moment, guys. Just ride me into the sunset. For Manly, we see I just lost my page. Clayton Falalo named on the wing for Leo Hopewada, who covers Turbo at fullback. Nathan Brown starts at prop with Alea out. Toff Sipley comes onto the bench. And for the Melbourne Storm, who are coming off a loss, that is correct, coming off a loss, Mario Seve is swapped back out for Lazarus Valipu. The only change for the Storm. Hughes is named on the reserves and could be a smoky play, but keep an eye on that one. I doubt it. I think you'd give him at least one more week coming back from a broken hand, but who knows? It is a late start for him. It's a Sunday game, so never know what could happen. Anything for this one, boys?
I seen that Hughes was, smoky to come back. I thought 1 week off from a broken hand. Well, I suppose it's one
And
little
had
bone in his
surgery.
hand. And surgery. Bloody hell.
Yep. And
That's
had
a
surgery.
turnaround.
They had to cut his hand out open and get right in
his
there
hand
and do with it.
Oh my god. He's lost his hand. Oh, he's got a
I
hand
said
off.
cut his hand open, so it was a proper surgery. But anyways, yep.
Yeah. No, we know what you said. It was being gooses, mate.
Yeah, I know.
Look, if he comes back next week, that's still a quick turnaround in my opinion, but mustn't be that big of an issue on the hand, I suppose. Yeah,
I just
don't
don't
know. I don't see
understand.
this.
I don't get why he's there. I really don't. You either pick him. I don't understand why they put him in the reserve. So I have a feeling he's going to get named. To be honest,
You reckon he will? Well,
I just don't get it. Why would you put him there? It's Jerome Hughes. It's the Dally M most recent Dally M winner. I don't get it. So I have a feeling he'll come in.
It's a Sunday Arvo thing. Maybe it's just to get in Manly's head, to not know what to expect.
They're getting in their own head at the Manly at the moment, Manly. So it's not hard to get that achieved. So
100%.
Interesting. Trav questioning Craig Bellamy. I've heard it all now. Heard it all.
Unreal. Lehigh at fullback too. That's pretty big.
Yes, that's
obviously,
juicy.
The expensive Turbo. We'll get into all the Turbo stuff later, I'd say.
That is juicy. Last one to round out, so we get straight into the good stuff, the juicy stuff. The Dogs against the Knights. For the Bulldogs, Satili Tupanoa being suspended sees Curtis Morin come onto the bench. And watch out, Jacob Kratz is named amongst the reserves and could be in for a potential return, but that'll be obviously be a wait and see. And unfortunately, it's the last game of the week, so you won't be able to do much in terms of late trades and things like that because most of your players will be already played by then. For the Newcastle Knights coming off the bye, obviously, Dylan Lucas still out. Thomas Kant named in the second row. And also Leo Thompson returns, pushing Brodie Jones to the 18th man spot. Any temptation on Thomas Kant at the moment?
Not really. I've seen a lot of people talking about him as well. I just don't see the security at all. Like Lucas and Kai Pispall are the second rowers in that side. And then between at lock, you've got Frizzell and Elliott. Like he's not going to get a spot there either. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. There's a lot of love for him, and he had a massive game when he first played, and based like 90 points, which is insane. But for how long?
So Lucas has apparently got 4 more weeks. He was at
I heard
least
back next week.
So he was 4 to 6 2 weeks ago. So next week with that, they were erring on more of the 6-week option as to what I had read and being told by a couple of Newcastle guys. So I thought he had about 4 weeks out. So you were getting Kant for literally a 2 to 3 week play. The bye for Newcastle last week was kind of annoying for him. Would have been nice, but yeah, it just didn't work out. He's definitely on the radar. He has another good game this week. He'll push like a Kai Pearce-Paul, or they'll find a spot for him. I don't see a problem with him. He's certainly on the radar, but I'm not getting him 1 week. I just got a flat rule: don't buy anyone after one game.
Yeah, the good thing for him as well, if you read a bit into it, is they've apparently told Kai Pearce-Paul is not wanted next year, so they are looking a little bit into bringing these people in and adjusting. Maybe could be an option. Pearce-Paul's coming off the bench or something, but again, that could be a nightmare in terms of minutes and stuff. So it's all a bit of a wait and see, in my opinion.
Yeah, big time. Yeah, I wouldn't be diving in early on him.
No, not at all. Alrighty. Well, let's talk about obviously a tough week. You boys have made that very clear. I think everyone who is playing Supercoach knows how bad of a week it was. Talk to us, Jesse. What sort of points that you want to go and make with this one? Where do you want to take this?
Well, it was a bad weather week. It was a bad weather week for every single game, and it kind of like the points dictated pretty much across the board for every game that was played. It was very similar. Fullbacks did pretty low. We know what to expect out of wet weather games. That's why you kind of back the forwards. And a year where forwards are absolutely dominating. Surprised there wasn't more talk about backing the forwards that week. You got Haas, who's averaging 100. You got Terrell May, who's banging out 90 plus 100 each week. Horsburgh, Tino, Fanua Blake, even Lindsay Smith. Like you can't stop the front rowers at the moment, and you can't have all of them. Unfortunately, you can conveniently enough move Tino and Horsburgh down to your second row just to get more front rowers. Like when have we ever thought about doing that? So it was a very front forward heavy game, but captaincy is a big talking point around the forward side of things at the moment, and just the consistency of it. We lost Turbo last week, very high captain, ended on 24 points or whatever it was. The week before, Cleary was a very popular captain, ended on 2 points. Ponga was another one that was really low. And these are the guys that, you're going for 40 points. So you're going for these big dogs trying to hit your hundreds and your 120 plus scores to, get a good captaincy out of. Man, you're getting it out of the forwards right now. And I think you're going to get it more often than not. So, and even if it's not 120 or whatever it's going to be, even if it's an 80, like an 85, 90 that you're going to get most of the time out of what Haas seems to be doing at the moment, I'll take a 90 captain if it's consistent and it's steady. Like this, you can keep a consistent roll on, then the ups and the downs. Like, because at the moment, no one's put their hand up in fullback and in the halves with a good score consistently. No one. Like Ponga had a couple of good starts and then a 40 game. Walsh has been absolutely nowhere, and I don't understand, and I really don't like the discussion around people buying Walsh because he's cheap. He's failing every eye test possible. Like that is enough of a cue for me to say do not touch him, even if he is 500k. Don't go there, but you can't stop him. So like that sort of thing at the moment, they're so volatile and they just haven't hit the straps yet. So it's just like captain the forwards. I'm probably going to throw a captain on Haas this week and just forget about it. I won't even worry.
I think last weekend was an anomaly, right? The weather, the rain that was coming down was incredible.
It's huge,
right?
Yeah,
and
horrible.
It's so much of it. It was so hard. It was just an anomaly. It was a perfect game for the forwards. Literally, grab it or get the pass, first, second receiver, bang, run through the line, do what you got to do. Tackle, slip off, blah 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 blah. That's just what happens in wet weather footy. And that's why I think there was so many low scores for a lot of the these big fullbacks and the like. Shibasaki's score I think was a reflection on the weather, and the way that the Broncos played. He didn't make those extra passes in a dry game. Arthurs gets all those tries that Shibasaki gets, right? Shibasaki makes those passes out. But because it's wet weather, it's just play consistent, good percentage footy and just run it in as hard as he can. And that's what he did. So, I think he was a really a fine testament to what that weather was like. I'm going to run through some of the I'll give you the top 10 FRFs. And this is unreal, right? Payne Haas, average 106. got 82 on the weekend. Terrell May, 82. Tino, 82. Tarpany, 71. AFB, 69. Carrigan, 67. Lindsay Smith, 67. Horsburgh, 67. Noffa White, 65. James Fisher-Harris, 64. So as the number 10.
Mental.
Every one of them has played, or not all of them, but all 8 of them have played 4 games. Tarpany's played 2, and Tino's played 3. You'd think that would be that I would look at like they're fullbacks numbers. That's top 10 fullback numbers.
I wonder what it is this year that's made the front rowers just shoot up. Like, what is the
quicker.
game? What about the games change that makes the front rowers so much more appealing, Supercoach and attacking wise? Like, is there any
majority
major?
of them are looking fitter, so they've got a bigger motor, so they're probably playing a bit more. So I look at Horsburgh, for instance, like he's come back looking like a bloody marathon runner. May, we all know that the off season he's sort of had. Like even Haas looks incredibly fit. Like I think the way the game is changing has meant the props have to play some more minutes, especially the good ones. And
have a look. Like at minutes averaged, every one of them is above or 50 and above. Payne Haas is averaging 68.
Crazy.
Terrell May.
Crazy.
Sorry, my bad. Payne Haas is averaging 61. Terrell May's averaging 69. Although he got 80 minutes the other day. Tino's 58. Tarpon is 50. AFB's 56. Carrigan 62. Smith 56. Horsburgh 57. Noffa White 53. Fisher-Harris 51. So they were all above 51.
So a minimum like 1.1s, 1.2 points per minute. Just nuts. And then you go through like the second row, the best averages out of the second row.
1.7.
Yeah, exactly. Friggin' hell. Well, I suppose he got with that 2 games, 90 points.
Yeah.
Thomas Can is the number 1 at the moment, obviously off of 1 game. And then the second and third, Viliami Kikau and Lucas. Both of those guys only played 2 games and they're currently injured, so their averages are a bit easier to attain, 87 and 86. You're looking like almost 20 points more. That's Payne Haas. And then number 4 is Tino, and he's in the front row discussion. Eli Katoa is the best actual, true second rower outside of the other ones that have played, but he's only played 3 games. So it's still, small sample sizes, but yeah, it's a very odd looking ladder at the moment for the overalls. So I like it though. Like I loaded up front row in week 2. So I was like, give me them front row points now. I'm just a big fan of it. I like to see the big men getting massive points. It's nice to see it at the top.
I love it. I think it's also very weather dependent. So just keep an eye on it each week, obviously. It's been a big talking point. I know in a lot of chats, whole weekend it's weather chat, it's weather talk. It obviously is becoming a very important and key aspect of things when it comes to this, to Supercoach, obviously, this game and the way then teams play to adapt to the wet weather, suits the middle, suits the forwards, things like that. So definitely keep an eye on it. Trades, Jesse, talk to us. What is the ins, the outs?
The ins and the outs. So obviously the massive one this week on the trade in. Actually, I'll touch on both of them, and we'll start dipping into the ladder itself and the top 10s for it. But Tom Turbo's a very, very heavy trade out this week, and rightfully so. He looks beaten up before he even ran out on the park. He's out at the moment by almost 15%, 27,792 as of right now. He's going to be out for 4 weeks. He's definitely a trade out. 815k, 169 break even. So yeah, he's going to come back quite cheap. And to be fair, I don't know if I'll be super interested in him once he's back. For a good few weeks after that price is sort of settled, and he could be sitting around who knows with Turbo, he could, blow a game up, but he could be around the mid 600s by the time that score's sort of plateauing a little bit. But again, when is that? Like, I wouldn't have a clue. So yeah, he's a massive trade out, and the trade in of, everyone, 44,500 people right now. It's massive. Thomas Jenkins, locked down a spot in the centres for Penrith. Obviously, the injury to Brian Toto has definitely cemented a position in for him. He'd already won it anyway. But yeah, he was pushing out Casey McLean, and Casey McLean's worked himself back in just by Brian Toto being out. So yeah, Toto comes back in a month. you'd imagine Casey McLean's back out again, and that's at least a month for Thomas Jenkins, providing he stays fit. Minus 94 break even.
That's ridiculous.
This is the biggest negative break even we've seen this year so far. And we were talking like, Jesse Arthurs was an absolute must have with his minus 60, 70, whatever it was.
This is
yeah. Oh, it's unreal. If he scores 45, which is his projected, he's going to go up 112.9k. Off of 45, he's averaging 80 with no attacking stats. Like in fair enough, round one he scored. He got those 3 try assists that were just gifted because Isaac Tungo did all the work. But last week, nothing really. Banged out a really good score. Like he's the closest thing to an absolute must trade that I've ever seen before with a break even like that. So, and that's the thing, doing that trade between Tom and Jenkins, if you're just doing a straight swap through a flex or something, that's like 600k in the bank. It opens a lot of doors up. You can pretty much do anything you want.
Love it.
Yeah. Well, that's it's a move I'm doing. It's a move I'd imagine the 3 of us are
It's
probably
basically
doing.
a move I think everyone has to do.
Yeah, you have to. You have to.
You have to find a way to get him in. So
yeah, if you have Turbo, you got money to spend anyway, let alone get another 600k in the bank. And then if you don't have him, then you're fine. Get yourself Jenkins and make more money. So I'll run through the most trade outs as it stands at the moment. So yeah, Tommy Turbo, he's an injured player. He's out. Is there anything you want to touch on, Trav, with Tommy?
No. Trade him. Get him out. Let's avoid that headache. I've had enough of it. See you later. And he won't be coming back into my team unless I see like massive scores. I'm literally just going to ride it and be like, yeah, unfortunately, I'm just not. I'm not going to take the risk. Sorry. Yeah, it sucks. I missed 150 points from Turbo, but I just can't do it.
Yep. Fair enough. Safe way to do it. So yeah, he's an out. We won't beat around that one. Jesse Arthurs is number 2. Yeah, I see a lot of Jesse Arthurs trading outs, and like I get it. Joel, you're against it.
I'm very much against this one. Very much against this.
Yeah, I'd
He's
say
still like Trav just mentioned it before in regards to the wet weather and things like that. He didn't get. He easily could have scored at least 2 tries on the weekend if it was better conditions, and all of a sudden everyone's going, "Oh no, let's keep him." And I dead set think he's got a mountain of tries to score in the next 5 to 6 weeks. With especially the next probably 3 weeks, they've got all their games. Oh, they've got the Tigers at home this week, the Roosters at home, and then the Warriors away. I've got no doubt the Broncos will score some tries in that, and that will have also Jesse Arthur's written all over it for a couple at least. So I'll be riding him until at least after round 7, and then I'll reevaluate.
Have to see who you can go to from him. Probably up, I would imagine, because he's going to be a nice price. Look, he got 37 points in a really bad game without any attack, and for Jesse Arthurs in a bad game, you're talking like 5s and 10s. So, like he's got the 3rd worst. I think I saw the stat the last week or the week before. 3rd lowest base stat out of any centre wing at all that's played all the games. And yeah, to come out with a 37 in a game where Shibasaki just could not pass him the ball, I don't think it's that bad. And if they shared the load a little bit, both of them end on 70 or 60 odd between the two, which is really nice. It's just Shibasaki took all the points. Because yeah, the tries are definitely coming down the left. It's just if you don't have anyone else to trade in your center wing, you need to get Jenkins somehow. You reset the cash gen with Jesse Arthurs, providing he doesn't do what Bostock did last year and just appear to have capped out and then make another 150k. You get 300k back doing Jesse Arthurs to Jenkins. Jenkins automatically makes 100k. How long is it going to take for Arthurs to make another 100k? They're both viable plays over each other. You're basically just resetting that cash gen. And that's what I see about it. And honestly, I don't mind it for that reason. I think Arthurs is still definitely a play, though. Like, he's got the Tigers this week, too. It's hard to trade anyone out versus the Tigers. So, yeah. Look, I'm in the boat to do it as well. I'm more inclined to trade out Toya, but again, he's got money to make. I feel like Arthurs may have already made his money. It's going to dry up a little bit. Like, I don't see Arthurs being a 700k guy. And that's essentially what you're giving up, not trading him. So, Trav?
Yeah, so Arthurs is traded out of my team. So the week before he played the Cowboys, he got 62 and was absolutely nowhere. until the second I texted Jesse and said Arthurs needs to pull his head in and he got a try. And that's why he got 62 points. So to me, based off the eye test, he was just nowhere. On the weekend, again, like watching that game against the Dolphins, my opinion is, and people are going to say no, but my opinion is that I don't think he was anywhere really near it. And yeah, okay, as I said to you before, like he could have got in a dry weather game. That might have been, Shibasaki more than likely makes those passes and Arthurs gets those tries, and it didn't because he wanted to hold it. And fair play, that's a high percentage. But I still didn't feel like Arthurs was sort of anywhere near it. I think with a 56 break even, I get that he's got West Tigers. I get that they play at Suncorp. I get all those things. But to me, trading Toya down to Jenkins, I'm only making 85,000. It's not enough. I don't want to make. I don't want. To me, a trade is worth a lot more than 85k. When I'm going cheapies down. So I need more. So Toya is not my viable option for that. I need to make some money. I want to make the money. I feel like Jenkins is probably going to make the same amount of points as what Arthurs is going to make. I think Jenkins has got the spot locked in. So I'd much rather go, okay, Jesse gets 60, Jesse gets 70, Jenkins probably gets 60 or 70 too. Cool, but I've just made a hell of a lot of money. Plus I've made $285,000. So I'm going to take Arthurs instead.
Yeah, and that's the most valid point to trading out Arthurs that you can pretty much make, I would say. No one bought Jesse Arthurs in anticipating him to be a keeper. I don't think he's ever been that. I think it's always been making some good coin out of him, and you get a good run and take the fixtures and the ride out. But yeah, I'd be more than happy to trade Arthurs at 500k. And if he makes 600k, or he makes another 100 on top of this, it's like, well, you just made that extra 100k with Jenkins anyway.
Yeah.
And I don't think the points hit's going to vary too much. If anything, like you just saw Jenkins put up like 80 in base. It'll take Arthur's probably 6 weeks to put 80 points on base. So, yeah. But in saying that, Arthur's will probably score freaking 3 tries this week. And then, what do you do? But yeah, I don't mind the trade out. It's just, yeah, you're making 300k. It's easy. Luke Metcalf, number 3. Oh, thank God. I've been so eager. I've been so ready to get Metcalf out of my side. I'm so glad it's happened this week and could not be happier about it, to be fair. Joel?
I'm keeping him for now. I'm holding him.
You're calling me sabotaging your team and you're doing it to yourself.
I'm holding him for now. I'm holding him. You know why? Purely because at the moment it's the buy. I've got other trades I'm prioritizing and he's not losing cash this week. So that's fine. I'll sit on it and just see what's going to happen. I love his duel at the moment as well. It can help me out a lot. So I'm holding him for now.
His second position on duel could be the bin, and that's where I'd play him more often than 5'8". Like, yeah, look, we've got some coin. He made some money, which is nice. He didn't really lose anything in particular. He hit 500k, and man, I just don't trust him at all. I just don't trust him. There's too many things that he has to do to get, slightly any points. It's just.
So he got 54 last week with an incredibly late try. And how many goals did he kick?
5.
5. And he got 54.
Yep.
So see you later. He's gone. I'm going straight from Metcalf up to JC. So at this point in time.
Yep. That's what I'm doing as well. Yeah, I'm very happy for it. Not looking back on that one. Number 4, Iongi out. So I got rid of Iongi last week.
Crazy.
I got rid of him last week. I don't like anything. Look, Iongi's a good player and he's doing a lot of work, but the team just isn't giving it to him where he needs it. He will take the opportunity when he gets it because you saw him get one chance and nail it, but it's one chance a game. Like that's all you're really getting at the moment. And if that, I don't know. I just don't. I see an absolutely the slowest possible burn out of him. Waiting for a massive blow-up game. It could come this week against the Dragons. Very well could. But yeah, I'm guessing Iongi out. I'd have to see who his most traded out is. I'd imagine everyone's most popular trade out in the fullback and center wing is straight to Jenkins. So yeah, traded out for Jenkins, 4,257. Fair enough. Do it. Jenkins is going to make more coin than Iongi has already in one game. So, yeah, I can't knock that one at all. That's the whole point of getting Iongi, was to get yourself an avenue to a faster, quicker, better gun in general. You're not doing it with Iongi at the moment.
Yeah, at least with Iongi down to Jenkins, you're making 100K, not 85. So that's, to me, just adds a little bit more value. Look, I'm keeping Iongi, but I get it. Like, I can understand people trading him out. I'm keeping him only because I'm happy just to sacrifice that slow burn. I'll just run the slow burn as a fullback there and have two fullbacks, one in my flex. And that's what I'll do. It is what it is. He's not really hurting me, and hopefully a try or two sort of comes through and sort of resets that a little bit, and he pushes a little bit more money. I wish, though, hindsight's a wonderful thing, that I wish I had done it last week like Jesse did, because at the moment, that this is probably one of those moves as to why I'm sitting at 30K, is that I'm sort of sitting on a dude like him as a slow burn and not getting points, whereas it could be points. So, and at this point, I want to take points. Otherwise, points are going to get away from me, and I'm not going to get to the end within reach of anything. So, I've got to prioritize points at this time, which is a very funny thing to say, because I didn't say that last year. Last year, I said I need to prioritize value. I need to prioritize cash gen. This year, I've got to say I've got to start prioritizing points.
Well, I prioritized cash gen last week when I got him out and spent an extra 400K and got Gutho. Plus, I wanted Gutho for this week. I thought, well, Gutho's going to make more money than Iongi will, even with the extra that I've got to spend on him. So, there was points there. There wasn't too much in between them. What, that 10, 15 points between what they scored overall. But, yeah, it's just, I don't know. The team values, they get away from you quick, man. Especially when, you've got multiple people going up in coin. I just don't want slow burners. Honestly, that's all it is. I just want to get rid of them. I've been trying to do it instantly. As soon as you notice and you identify them that they're going to be a shitter, just get off them. Try and find someone who's going to make that quick coin. Joel, what are you planning to do with Iongi?
I'm holding him for now. I am holding him in my fullback non-playing reserve at this stage, but I am half tempted for this weekend to play him. I feel like it might be an open game. There'll be some points scored. The only other reason I'm tempted to hold him for maybe a couple more weeks is just to see what he can do with Moses, and see what that does to his game, having that playmaker that's dominant, does pretty much everything, and will hopefully open up Iongi's game a lot. So, I'm tempted to hold him at the moment. The fixture list for the Eels, at least until their bye, isn't that bad. I've seen worse. So, if there's ever a few weeks where he might get a couple of tries and get on a little roll before their bye, it's now. So I've held him for now, and he's got cash every time. He's got a BE at the moment of 6, so he's still going to make cash. So I'm going to go him at least for a couple of weeks, I reckon.
Yeah, it's just that for a fullback after 4 weeks to have not made 100K yet, priced at 232K, he's just not doing a lot. But again, the Dragons, the Raiders, the Tigers coming up. Buying round 8, so see what happens there. But again, I suppose if you're going to wait for Moses to come back, you're waiting you're waiting a month to see if he's going to get any better. You can do so much.
I'll get rid of him on the buy. So if he's not doing what he's supposed to be doing, buy gone.
But then you don't get to see before Moses comes back.
Tries. Well, he needs to get, I'll rephrase what I said. He needs to get at least, I reckon, 2 tries in the next 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And then I'll be, okay, the other thing is, as you said at the start, the fullbacks aren't really doing too much at the moment. That's the other thing why, what, if I've got a bottom dollar guy who started bottom dollar, I'll just hold him for now. Instead of
you might be able to
100K on a fullback that's going to give me 80 points 1 week and 30 points the next. I'd rather just cop whatever Iongi's going to give me.
You might be able to straight swap him for Walsh soon.
There we go.
Wouldn't be too hard.
I don't want to touch Walsh, though. I've said it many times. I've never touched him in Supercoach. I refuse.
Yeah, I'd rather Iongi. Robert Toya's number 5. We sort of touched on this one briefly before when talking about Arthur's, but yeah, look, he's not made enough yet to really want to get off him. And his base has been solid at the very least. He hasn't really blown out. Besides that first game, hasn't really done too much, and he's sort of been on my chopping block in a little bit just to go, oh, if there's not much more coming from this, and I don't want to be hanging about. But yeah, and plus Billy Smith's lingering too. You got to imagine if Billy Smith comes into the side, it has to be Toya that steps out, isn't it? Surely. I don't see him. I really don't
Not
see him
according
dropping
to the
Dom
coach.
Young. Yeah, maybe Dom Young goes out. Mark goes to the wing. That's sort of the other discussion. There's been heaps to talk about that. But with Toya's scores, a 90 in round one, 43, 26, 45. So it seems like that 40 odd roughly is pretty much where his base is going to sit without any attack. I don't mind it.
But he hasn't been playing bad. He's just been playing for the Roosters.
Yeah. That's Iongi's problem.
And it's the same thing. Like, he hasn't been playing bad. He's just playing for Para. I actually think he's been pretty good. I think he's got his spot. They love him. I think coach loves him. He's got it there. He's really, to be fair, the Roosters have been their own worst enemy. They've actually been within games. They've just made errors and poor errors and that's cost him. And actually, a few of those areas have cost Toya a try, where he was receiving on the receiving end of a poor pass or that sort of stuff. So, like, he's thereabouts. I think this break even of 22, even though I get it, he's going to go and have some fun this weekend against Latrell. I get it. But I also think this is going to be an opportunity for him to draw Latrell in to make that extra pass or do a few extra bits and pieces. So I'm really eager to watch this game on the weekend because I want to watch the Supercoach battles of that. I don't think Toya is a trade out. I know people are trading him out, and most of those trades are Toya to Jenkins, and like more than half of that is Toya to Jenkins, and I get it. But like I said to you before, I want more than $85,000 in a cheapy trade for a dude that I just don't need to make. So I'm happy to keep Toya there. I'm not playing him. I'm happy to just have him there, though.
Well, it's 85K plus 100K after a week. So, Toya's not making 100K this week. Could do.
No, he's not.
No,
Nope.
He's not. But yeah, fair points. Joel, anything?
Hold him for now. Another guy that I'm happy with.
No, that's fair. Are you trading at all this week or what?
I've made some big trades this week. We'll get to that. Making moves.
So you said last week we moved down. Kobe Hetherington, number 6.
Excuse me, do you want to get muted?
Look, I'd imagine there's a lot of people. I'm getting past that. I'm not even gonna humor it. A lot of people that had Kobe Hetherington to start just went for that sort of 300 odd K, just mid tier guy to fill a spot, and they'd be very eager to get off.
Listen.
Yeah, pretty much. We know what he's going to do. He's very, very much statistically done this every single time he's played a game. So yeah, hasn't really been too massive of a headache. Well, last week he didn't score very well, but yeah, 55, 2 pretty much 40s, and then a 22, real bad. Who's his most popular trade out to? Kobe Hetherington really hasn't made too much coin either. Traded out for oh wow, it's all real random, isn't it? Jaden Campbell, Eli Katoa, Pappenhausen, Tino, Nafahu White, Thomas Kent. So I suppose
I'm just going to stop you there. There's too much time to spend on Kobe Hetherington. Get rid of him. 350K. He's made 11. He's got a big break even. He's gone 43, 48, 36, and 25 in minutes. See you later. Move on. Who's the next dude?
Done. Jerome Luai. Should have got rid of him, a week or two ago?
Yeah,
double out.
Joel and I said last week in the pod that he had to go last weekend. Then he's gone and lost another 80K for you. Sorry, guys.
Oh, that's brutal. He's lost 153 already.
Yep.
Holy moly, 428 and dropping.
Problem is that he's now at a really crappy price. He's at a really awkward price. He's not at a price that you're going to drop something down to and make some cash on it. And he's at an awkward price where it's actually going to cost you, to go to anyone viable in the 5'8", you've got to get to Munster. That's going to be more than 200K. And to get to JC, it's basically 290 or 80K. So, yeah, it's in a really shitty spot.
Oh, yeah. There's nothing around him. You may as well hold him.
Nope.
That sucks.
Yep.
He's an AE nightmare, Jerome Luai.
He's literally trading. He's literally an option of, to me, to get rid of Luai, I'd almost be looking at enough. And just get him down to 190 and make the 200 and something K, and just that's where your enough is, because it's just an awkward spot. It's just an awkward spot. But yep, anyways, he's a really good trade out.
Big enough. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, number 8. He's out for another 7 weeks. He's got to go. Got to go. 550K, hasn't lost any coin, nothing. He's just, he's an easy out, especially to a Jenkins this week. God, that's very handy to have. Number 9, Adam Dewey. Now he's named, so I'd probably hold him if he does actually play. But yeah, he's not been bad at all, really. I can't really knock Dewey. But yeah, look, if
No.
he's going to have these little mini injury niggle last minute pullouts, we know what he's sort of got a record for. But
Well, yeah,
450,
but like he's
450K.
450K. He's actually made 18,000.
Yeah.
41, 75, 42. He's got an average of 52. He hasn't actually made 52 points a game though. Like obviously that's the way the averages work. But he's got that. So like and I think he's still got that dual. I think he's a good option, and he's only got a break even of 22, right?
Yeah.
I
He's
think
an
he's
easy
just
play
I
too.
think he's just
Yeah.
a play, and if he's not playing, you just bench him. Like you just sit him on your reserves and bench him, unless you're unlucky enough that you've got Dewey and I don't know Metcalf or something. But that would be a different story, and hopefully you're trading Metcalf instead. But
Yeah.
I think he's an easy play.
His duel's
I've
so
got 'em both.
valuable too. Yeah, you do have them both.
Yeah, you've got him in the centers, though, haven't you?
I've got Dewey in the centers at the moment. So,
Yeah.
and I also had Skelton. So that was a pain in the ass.
Rip.
I'll tell you,
Going
I got
into-
absolutely dudded last week. Absolutely dudded.
You lost everyone.
Oh,
Late too. Losing Dewey and
Yeah.
Skelton late. Oh god.
Oh, fuck.
Speaking of, he's number 10 on the list, Skelton.
So that-
507K.
Gotta go.
He's made 8K. I suppose you don't really have
Gotta
any
go.
clarity about what's actually wrong with him, but
It's a hamstring, isn't it? And it's probably a couple of weeks. By the
Yeah.
sounds of things.
yeah,
So-
just trade him. Just trade him. If you got him, just trade him.
And to,
He's-
Yep.
to be fair, he hasn't been dreadful, but he's the wish version of Karaz, isn't he? In a way, like he can do some really good stuff, but I feel like there's some other plays you
Hey,
can
more.
make this week. And
Look, to be said, I would say he's been way better than dreadful. Or to say he wasn't was your comment, which is implying he hasn't been great. A 62 and a 65 in 2 80-minute games. Yeah, Newcastle and Parrot. That's bloody good for a centre. And when you paid 500K for him, I'm happy to have that. And then on 49 minutes, he got 39 against the Dolphins. Like, okay, so that was an injury-affected game and stuff like that. But unfortunately, I think it's a long-term injury, isn't it? It's a bit longer than not long-term, but I think it's a bit longer than a couple of weeks. So,
Yeah.
he's just got to
Long
go.
enough. One
And it's an
person has
easy one
traded.
down to Jenkins.
What? I'm just having a look. One person's traded him in this week for Jack Bird. What are you doing?
Hasn't realised he's
You
not
love
playing.
those.
Oh, straight
love
bots,
those,
man. Oh, I just look at him. I'm like, what are you doing? So that's a bot trade if I ever saw it. But yeah, they're the trade outs, man. There's some pretty easy trade outs to be fair. Trade ins though. Thomas Jenkins, man, he's an absolute must. Lock him in, get him. Any way possible too, I reckon. Number 2, Jaden Campbell. Traded in by 14.2 thousand people. I am bringing him in. Trav, you're bringing him in?
Yeah, look, I'm still undecided whether I do it, but it's him or to be very straight. It's either him or Munster. It's whether I want to spend the 70 extra K to go up to Campbell for a Munster, or I just go. I think Jaden Campbell has better upside. I think you've even said that, Jesse. So I'm sort of parroting you there a bit, but I think Campbell's got the better upside. I think Campbell's got the better ball play. I think with Munster, I just know I'm going to get 50 minimum. I think at this point in time for a while anyways, particularly with Hughes out, up until Origin period, because they have already had their bye like the Titans have. But yeah, I like Campbell at this point in time, but there's a very real chance I go down to bank an extra 70K.
Yeah. I have both. So I suppose it's kind of hard to make that sort of comparison with it. But I just feel like, yeah, it just depends on what Munster you get. You know what I mean? Like I would say for the long term, I would rather have Munster, and I was like very happy to start with Munster, but I feel like he just doesn't have the same blowouts that Campbell can have potentially. Because you just don't know, what Storm player is going to run off with it. But yeah, I love the trade in for Jaden Campbell. His break even's quite low to be fair. It's 39, so you got to imagine he's definitely making money this week, especially against
Whereas
the Dolphins.
Munster's is 77.
Yeah, so you're making coin, and then the Titans have a really good run too. Like they've got the Finns this week, they've got the Dragons next week, they've got Raiders week after that, and that's a lot there for Jaden Campbell to get a roll on for. And then after that, they got the Cows too. So like, that's 4 games in Queensland for him. Oh no, sorry, they play the Dragons and win. So yeah, either way. On 9 games, they got the Dogs in round 9. So yeah, there's a good run there for Jaden Campbell. I really like the trade. I think it is worth the extra 70k. But yeah, the same. You can say the exact same thing about Melbourne too. Like their draw's friggin' awesome after even the Manly game. I consider that decent for them. Yeah, I just think you can't go wrong. They're the 5/8s that you want. They're like the final two essentially, the targets for the year. So if you can get them in as early as possible, I feel like Campbell will get away from you though. That's the problem. You don't kind of do it now. What about you, Joel? Who have you got in your 5/8s?
I've got in my 5/8 at the moment. I'll tell you who I've got. I've got Munster and I've got Metcalf still. My thing at the moment where I'm confused and where I'm just deciding what to do with my trades, it's either Cleary or Campbell at halfback. So I'm just in two minds because I actually think,
Easy.
and as crazy as it sounds, I just think Cleary is going to absolutely be on a tear this weekend against the Cowboys. And if I don't have him, I think I'm going to regret not having him. I know he's got a huge BE and another argument's going to come, but I think Cleary's going to score well the next at least 3 weeks. So I don't care about that BE because I think he'll end up just fixing it out. So that's okay.
I would.
Yeah,
With 13
I don't
mil
know.
team value. With 13 mil as a
What?
team value.
What do you mean?
You're going to lose. Like, look, there's every chance that Cleary can come out and bang out 120 points and lose 30k. You know what I mean? And then you're like, sweet, I'll take the 120 with a very minimal price drop. That's best case. Best case, he hits 150 and he actually goes up in coin. So it's just, yeah, I don't know. If in that position where you've got the two of them, Campbell could potentially make 70, 80k and Cleary could potentially drop 80k this week. That 160k swing between having two of them just to give yourself a chance to get him next week. That's kind of what I'd do. That's what I'm doing this week. Is I don't have Cleary. To be fair, I kind of want to see what he does. I feel like the Panthers have been in a bit of sorts. More than Cleary, I'd imagine, can just dig him out in one game. So yeah, look, if the option was there between the two, personally, I would take the one that you can get now before he gets away, and then get the guy who's coming down in price and just make it easier for yourself. But points at the end of the day are king, and it's Cleary. He's most likely to score a ton more than probably anyone else in the comp. But yeah, don't worry about me. You don't listen to me anyway. So
Sabotage edition,
I
guys.
wouldn't.
Sabotage is on.
I'm saying Campbell over Cleary. I don't think Campbell outscores Cleary. I just think for the money at the moment and where the break evens sit.
Yeah, so look, I'm a Cleary owner. I kept him. If I didn't have Cleary and I was, say, owning Hines or whatever, I would pick Campbell this week over Cleary. The Dolphins matchup for Campbell with that small break even, it's already at 708k. It screams to me like if I'm going to get Jaden, I want him now. If I don't get Jaden, I'm not going to get Jaden until ages away, if at all. So yeah, I'm getting Jaden now, and then I'll get Cleary in a couple of weeks' time if that's where you're at. I think Cleary's, you're going to get Cleary now, and then you're probably going to end up trading. You've just traded him out last week. You got Reynolds. You got that price rise. You're going to bring him back this week, and then to be fair, you're more than likely going to end up trading him out again come Origin time. So it's going to cost you.
At least if you're going to do that, get him at a discount.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll play my game here, boys. I'll play mine. I'll go back to round 1 and 2. Thank you.
Yeah,
okay.
You can't do that, mate. You've got to look forward. So where are we?
Good trade in. Definitely. Jaden Campbell. Pappenhausen next.
Awesome trade. Pappenhausen. Awesome trade in as well. I'm doing that one. So this, honestly, it's such a template trio of boost this week. It looks like everyone and their dog is going Turbo, Arthurs, and Metcalf out for Jenkins, Campbell, and Pappenhausen, and I love it. I love it. It's so easy. It's almost like they've just presented themselves and said, "Here's your trades for round 5. Just do this one." And I don't think you can really go wrong. 675 for Pap, brought in by 10,500 people. 77 break even. So yeah, I don't think he goes up or down too far. I think his 77 is pretty steady. I really hope he gets the goal kicking. After this week, geez, the run is nice. It's New Zealand. Last 3 games, 132, 155, 126. Massive. And then the Dolphins, the South, the Raiders, the Tigers. Yeah.
So word is that Pappenhausen isn't kicking this weekend again. Wishart will do it unless Hughes comes in, which I kind of said to you before that I think that might happen.
Yep.
So yeah, to talk around some of these figures, right, and what's these trades-ins on what you're saying about the top 3 trade-ins, top 3 trades out. Jaden Campbell currently is being traded in at 7.6. He was already owned at 6%, so he's still only going to be in 13% of all the teams, right? So not the top. I haven't broken that down into top 1% or anything like that. That's all teams. So he's still going to only be 13%. Pappenhausen is or was owned by 22% going into this round and is being brought in by another 5.7%. So he'll be 28% owned at the end of this round, or is owned at this point in time. So he's highly owned. So it's one of those points of, do you go with the pack, being that that's where he's at, or you don't?
For his price and the run and just getting Melbourne guys and just Pap in general, I still would, to be fair. Like, who else are you going to really run with at the moment?
So of the top 5%, Pappenhausen's been brought in by 7.2% of teams. Jaden Campbell's being brought in by 14.2% of teams of the top 5%.
That's not too bad.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'd do that. I think that's solid. As far as fullbacks go, he's the second highest averaging fullback with 87.3. The only one in front of him is Gutho. For this week, really, if you're going to do a trade and, any of those 3 and you're getting yourself in a fullback for that turbo trade, I would probably go Gutho if I didn't have him already. The price-wise, you're looking at what? 75, 80K, which was about what they were price difference last week as well, because they pretty much went up the same amount. I'd between the two, geez, you're kind of splitting hairs again, but we're not really talking about Gutho at the moment. But I would choose Gutho even just for the Eels game and just to freaking have him for this week, because I just want to see. I'm probably considering captaining him just to see what happens. I'm so curious about this Eels game with him. So, but yeah, I really can't knock the Pap trade. I'm a sucker for Pappenhausen every year, even when he's in the midst of all his bloody injury talk.
It's really similar to the argument I just said before about Campbell and Munster as 5'8". Like, it's 75K difference or 70 odd K difference. And then Pappenhausen and Gutho is 79K difference. It's money dependent. Like, can you do it? Can you afford it? Like, I get Jenkins is going down, but if you see the value and you want to save that 70K for something next week or whatever, it makes sense. I'm with you, though. I would prioritize getting Gutho before I get Pappenhausen. Pappenhausen has that break even of 77. I get that Gutho's got a break even of 40 at 750K. So to me, I prioritize Gutho with the matchup. I think Pappenhausen might get you maybe an 80 or 90 this week, which means he's still going to be pretty much the same price next week. Iongi might push up a few, it might be a really good chance to go and, next week go Iongi to Pappenhausen kind of thing, like what you did last week. So yeah, I'd prioritize Gutho over Pappenhausen.
Yeah. Joel?
I'm going Paps. Very happy with Paps. It's a long-term play as well because I love the Storms matchup for weeks and weeks and weeks to come. So get him on now.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think, we forget to, Pap friggin' 2 years ago, he started the year at before he even actually got a game, it was like 900 something K. He was averaging 90 the year before. Obviously goal kicking, but perhaps he's elite, man. Like, he's right up there with the top 3 when he's on. Just been bad. Not bad, just unlucky with his injuries, and it's just really held him back for the last couple of years. But yeah, look, man, he looks so good.
To be fair, if you're going to make the argument of draws about who's coming up, like, we get what Melbourne are about to do and come up against. Gutho plays Para, Titans, Manly, Roosters, Tigers, New Zealand over the next 6.
God, it's good.
It's not like he's got a bad draw either. In a team where everything is literally going through him, like literally, you just watched him on the weekend. YC only got that 45, but everything was through him. He was directing. He was like, you could just, he was everywhere. Like, it's his team. He's in charge. Yeah, I can't argue. I don't know. I can't see the argument between the two based off their draw because he's got a pretty good one coming too.
I just think you choose the one that you just have a better feel about. Just back more, because I don't think you can do wrong with either. Genuinely,
Yeah,
I think
I
even
agree.
like having both, I've got both in at the moment, and I'm stoked because I wouldn't be able to pick them otherwise. So yeah, easy one. Again, Matt.
Is
Oh, sorry. Go on.
just last point. We speak about with Walsh though, is the fact that Gutho was everywhere on the weekend and literally scored a 40 odd. Is that a concern? Because
No, because of
Pappenhausen, for
wet
instance,
weather.
his lowest score so far is a 65, and you'd argue he was nowhere near what Gutho was doing on the weekend, yet he outscored Gutho.
Well,
So
Pappenhausen was in the vote. He still had a good game.
He scored a try too.
And scored the try.
Gutho was man of the match though by a country mile. So.
Yeah, that's right. But
And he missed the
just
try by this much.
yes, that's right. Literally, as we said to
Different
you,
story.
and then also that he was pretty much the third, fourth sort of passer. Like he set it up. He was the one that was the reason why most of their tries happened. Like, yeah, I don't have a problem with that at all. I think that was just one of those things. Just put that down to a wet weather game in a game that Gutho kind of had to do what he had to do with that one to win that game.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking too, like with Paps, he picks his attacking runs a lot more. Like Gutho's defensive as anything. He just wants to be there, and he does a lot more work than Pap does realistically on the pitch. But Paps in attack, you see him, he just picks his moment and he strikes and he gets it. He just fucking nails it every time. Like he's so electric with it. It's so good to watch. With Gutho, like he might be a little bit more defensive, a bit more involved in the game overall, but like that in general is just he's gonna make something happen just by default. So yeah, they've both got their own pros. Very few cons really, but they're gonna get their points in different ways, I think. And yeah, I would I'd be very happy to have both long term. But yeah, pretty much that's it on Pat.
Yep.
Yep.
Shibasaki, 408k. My goodness.
Made 175.
Made 175k with a minus 50 break even, expected to make thereabouts another 90 to 100k. I'll ask you, Trav, is it too late to get Shibasaki?
No, at minus 54, it's not. 400k. I don't see a problem with that. It could be an easy trade down from RTS down to him or something like that you've got. I don't think it's too late. There's still money to be made. I think there should, like Shibasaki he could be 600k, could be more than 600k in a few weeks' time. Like, yeah, I don't think it's too late at all.
I'm looking at the most traded in for Shibasaki at the moment. It's Jesse Arthurs as a trade out. He's traded 795 people have traded out Jesse Arthurs to get in Shibasaki.
Yeah, so you're making 100k to make that back almost in this next week.
Yeah, I feel like
so it'll hit a 200k trade in a week.
200k swing. Yeah, you see, it's so good when you say it like that, but I just don't know if I'd be trading Arthurs to Shibasaki or like that. But again, it's a 50 for a minus 50 break even. It's so good though. Like these cheapies have just gone nuts. Yeah, look, he could be one of those guys that just stays in your team and just chips away until he's 600-700k in a few weeks' time. Like I just don't see him stopping. Looks really good.
Nope. And as we said last week, and I'll say it again, Madge loves him. Madge was true to his word. He's got confidence and he's playing like that now. Like you can see, you saw it last week and even the week before that, you saw he's playing with that confidence, knowing the team's his. He knows he's there. He knows his spot's there. So, he's not having to do silly things to try and make his name more known or be seen. Yeah, I don't.
And I saw this article come out as well that a lot of the barbers around Brisbane have getting a lot of demands for the little goatee, little haircut stuff that's going about him. So yeah, cult hero, doing well. A lot of super coaches out there being degenerates. Yeah, he's great. Lock him in. Number 5, Kalen Ponga. Easy swap to Turbo. Do you reckon this is the number 1? If you don't have Ponga and you have Turbo, you get Ponga now? Or is there a bit more discussion around the fullbacks?
If you don't have Ponga, yes.
Lock it in.
But
above all,
I don't know, because I don't actually really like we talk about runs and that. I don't like their run as much as I like the others that we've spoken about. Like I like the Storm and the Dragons run better than the Knights of the Dogs this week, who could easily nullify Ponga's attack. We spoke about that last night on the Tuesday night show. We would not be surprised if they just smother him. The Tigers, they can probably get a good score there, but then the Sharkies, the Warriors are away in New Zealand, who we've seen so far this year. They're a different beast in New Zealand. South away, and then they go with the Titans. So it's not the easiest of draws. Like, yeah, we started with Ponga because their draw was a lot nicer to start the year. It is. I know everything is still probably going through Ponga, or majority of it is. There's Fletcher Sharp there as well, but I don't know. I think the other two we spoke about, Paps and Gutho, I'd be probably in a weird way prioritising.
Ponga is literally matchup proof. He will score you 100 plus against anybody at any time. That's just how good Ponga is. I think we're sort of delving into what potentially he could do against the Bulldogs and what the Bulldogs might do to him. But to be fair, Ponga is Ponga. So, to me, you're picking Ponga this week because he's the next best fullback and will be the best fullback in the competition by the end of the year, and is already. Let's just say that he doesn't pay Origin like last year, or that he 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 doesn't have a bye till around 18. So that's just telling me I've got to get some Newcastle boys in my team too, which I've already got a couple anyways. But
he'll play Origin.
He will play Origin though. But I like and he'll come back. See, that's the other thing too, is that he'll play if the matchups are good. He'll come back straight away to play for Newcastle straight after Origin too, in my view. I like the matchup against the Tigers. I like the matchup against the Sharks because I don't think the Sharks are a defensive menace. I think they're an attacking menace. So I don't mind the matchup against the Sharks. New Zealand, I have no problem. I love Souths. I love Titans. I love round 11 Para. So he will play that one, won't he? He just will miss the Penrith game in round 12. Is that right?
Sounds right.
Yeah, because the Origin bye is 13. So he'll play Para, then miss Penrith. So I think the matchups coming up are gold for him. He's got a break even of 77, I think it was. Yeah, 72. He's still heavily owned. He was in 43% of teams last week. He's still he's now going to be in 2.5. I kept him last week and was pretty happy with that, but I was kind of hoping that he would be traded out more. But he didn't. So, I'm not prioritizing it for my own team, but I would be. I would go him over Pappenhausen and Gutho in a heartbeat.
I would definitely say if you don't have Ponga and you had Turbo and you've lost him, you get Ponga. You just do it. I still think he puts a score on the Dogs too. Like the Dogs haven't been as good as they have been. They're still letting points in to players. Like they're not like they're the max score against them is 40 or 50. Like Ponga can still put up a 90 pretty comfortably on any given week. So I just think he's nearabouts as close to in the fullbacks now that Turbo's gone. He's a must. I'd say you got to have him, especially with the flex. But he's probably going to go up in coin this week too. Number 6, Tino.
Yep.
Still such a popular trade. Still, just get him again.
Yeah.
It's if you don't have him already, you should. Much to
Yeah,
touch on
and
Tino.
look, it's costing you 67K for not getting him. For those 2.4%, that's 67K, but it's not a huge amount in the grand scheme of things. When you've got Jenkins that you're just about to make a crap ton of money on, I think get him in straight away. Like I prioritized getting him in before his price rise last week. Happy to have him. He'll consistently just get you 60. His floor, his lowest is 60. Like I'll take that 100%.
Yeah. Tino at 600 is still underpriced Tino. So
yep.
Gutho, number 7. We've already spoken about Gutho. Great buy if set your hierarchy up of fullbacks and where you prioritize a lot. But I think Gutho should be right up there. Number 8, Nathan Cleary. I'll let you go on this one, Joel.
Me?
You're the man. Yeah, you're the man with the Cleary. I know Trav didn't trade him out. You traded him out, but you're obviously going to bring him straight back in. So I'm curious.
I haven't trusted my gut the last few weeks, and I'm back to trusting my gut. I just think he's in for a big score. I think he gets the 100+ score, and I want it. I actually think the Dolphins are due to be right up there, so I don't anticipate. I'm not as big on Campbell, I guess, as you two are. So I'm Cleary for me. Yeah. As I said, I'm up in the air still. There is a small part of me wants to go, but and is in the top 10. So there's obviously a lot of people that are bringing Cleary in this week and just saying, you know what, I'll take the cash dive if it happens. He doesn't reach his BE, which is a high chance he doesn't. It's just about by how much he doesn't reach it by. And then he carries that 2 points in for the next couple of weeks as well. But yeah, it's Nathan Cleary. He's goal kicking. He's doing all that. So I'm happy to get him straight back in my team, and I don't want to risk not having him either.
Just something to consider about Cleary is, yes, he's got that monster break even. Plays 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Has the Penrith have a bye in round 11, so he's not going to play round 11, and then obviously he's going to miss round 12 because of Origin, and maybe 13 because they play Para. So maybe he misses that. So like he's literally going to miss 11, 12, and probably 13. Yeah, I don't know. If I've traded him out, I'm not bringing him in for another 5 games.
For another 5 years.
I'm not bringing, for 5 more to then him go and miss for Origin with the bye, with his awkward bye in round 11. I think I'm just gonna, if I've traded him out, I'm trading him out. Then I'm leaving him out. I'm prioritizing Hines as a halfback.
Yeah, well, I traded Cleary out to Hines last week, and I wanted obviously to keep Cleary and then get Hines in a couple of weeks' time for whatever cash he has increased in price. Plans changed. Played a bit of eyes up footy. Saw a 150k loss. I thought I better jump off this and grab the guy that I want who's going up before I get too far away and the gap is 300k all of a sudden. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like I look at him and I go, okay, Cleary gets say an 80 this week, low score against the Cows, hypothetically. He loses 80k, goes into the following week with another break even of 142 again. To lose another 30k if he goes, pretty good scores. It's a lot to lose, but again, it's Cleary. A lot of people don't talk about you only lose coin when you sell them. It's like you still lost coin. Like they still have lost that much money, whether you sold them or not. They're not worth what they were. So, especially at this point of the season, 150k, 200k is massive. It's very hard to make that up once you've missed it. So look, I know there's a lot of people out there that'll go against it and say Cleary's an absolute lock-in. You got to have him in your side. The first 2 rounds, he scored a 68 and an 80. It's hardly groundbreaking stuff. It's not going to kill you, and it's not going to define your season yet. We're still waiting to see that 160 game, which could be the Cows. It could be this week, and it's going to hurt. But again, what you'll make over those 5, 6, 7 games between round 10 and round 19 that he doesn't play with another halfback that will, I just think, there's more points to be made elsewhere. But, I'll be coming back next Wednesday after Cleary's dropped 142 points and his break even is very steady, thinking, shit, I'm getting him in now. But yeah, you do you, Joel. I hope it works out for you.
I will. Yeah. You'll be calling me daddy next week.
I bet. Yeah. Plus, I reckon that 4,000 is only because no one else is really... Well, 4,000 people that have traded him in this week are probably 4,000 people that traded him out last week. Because I don't see why else you'd want to get him back. Because, better option.
I also don't want to follow the herd, because if I did do the Campbell, I'd literally do the top 3, and I did the top 3 last week. Unknowingly at the time when I did make the trades, but I want to be a bit different as well. Keep talking about why we're not making big jumps or whatever we're supposed to be making, and I think that might be part of the reason why, because everyone's got similar teams. A lot of people do. So got to start thinking a bit outside the box. And I think a lot of people are doubting Cleary this week. I'm happy to jump on Cleary, and I feel like it could be a chance to make a bit. So
to be fair, Cleary's
he's 59,000.
To be fair, Cleary's was owned by 37% before he went into this weekend. So he's now got another 4.5%. So he's going to be over 40% owned.
I'm going to captain.
Yeah. If you want to go talking pod, he's a popular captain option too. If you want to go the pod route and go against the Cleary grain to make some ground, you go Campbell this week. That's where your points are, not the guy that's almost 50%.
Nathan Cleary, guys, in the comments, back me up. It's Nathan Cleary. These two are bullies.
I've already got him. I'm not being a bully.
This is
I kept him.
Yeah, I'm the
This
only
is
one
a
that
didn't
snapped
prime
trade
it.
him.
example, guys, and you're seeing it live on air of Jesse's sabotage mission. I'm not doing it. I'm not falling for
I
it.
don't have
I'm
him.
locking in what I've locked in.
All
I
right,
told
move
you what
on.
he's going to do. Nafahu White. I'm freaking Nafahu White, man. Let's get into
Well, I
something
can't
real
believe he's
exciting.
been brought back in, but he's got a minus 11 break even. He's 497. Like, this is not Tino. 30. This is not a 30K cheaper Tino. Noffel White's a freak, and he's been doing so well. He's made 130K. He's been scoring points the last couple of weeks, like 87 and 77. That's just stupid. That's such good bench front row
Massive.
forward numbers, and I have luckily enough picked him. I will pick him again this week against the Rabbitohs as a reserve. Love having him, but I am not buying him.
No.
No.
I wouldn't buy him. Not now. Not at 500K. He's made 130. Fair enough. The minus 11's good. He'll go up. He'll be nearabouts that. Yeah, probably around that mid 500s price. And the way that I look at it, mid 500, he's an awesome price to upgrade to someone who's fallen a gun. Move him up to I don't know, an Angus or a Eli Katoa or Olakawatu or one of those guys. You turn him into an elite. If you're able to turn Nafahu White from where he was at like 370K into one of the big dogs within 2 months, that's awesome going, I reckon. So yeah, it's just by now you've kind of lost that amount of coin, and he's been very lucky to get the minutes that he has. Just fortunate that there's been an injury or a concussion or an HIA or something happen every game for him. Basically, that's kept him on the field.
He's playing into his role, and he's playing to lock his minutes away, and he has locked his away. Here's something for you. If you're bringing in and you want to talk about a front row forward like that, let's talk about Corey Horsburgh, because Noffa White's actually beating him. Noffa White's made
Wow.
more money. Noffa White is more expensive now. They were basically Horsburgh's made 134K. And has a break even of 28 this week. I'm looking at this thinking Noffa White's actually probably just going to sit there and be my third front row forward for a very long time. I am not going anywhere near trading him out, but I don't see people trading him in. I don't see why you would be. Like, if you're going to trade him in, find more money and trade him to trade up and get someone else.
Yep. Pretty much. Joel, you've got him?
Yeah, I got him.
Yeah.
Haven't played in the last few weeks, and guess what? I'll be playing him this week, so go shit.
Oh, I might get off him now.
Yeah, I might not play him. That sucks.
I've missed all
Yeah.
3
Why
weeks.
did you have
of
to
his
do that,
good
Joel? Seriously.
Yeah, I know. He let me down. But no, he's been really good. Yeah, I think if you've got him, you enjoy it. If not, yeah, find someone else.
You've missed the boat. That's one you've missed the boat.
Yep. Number 10, the final one, Cameron Munster. 632K. He's only made 23K. 3,500 people bringing him in. Very popular trade up for like a Metcalf or something. I like it a lot. Got him. Really good. If the discussion between him and Campbell, I suppose it's dependent if you've got that extra 70K, like you were saying just before, Trav. So
I think
both.
I don't think it's that question of whether we've got the extra 70K. We are going to get it because we're getting Jenkins, so we're going to have a lot of money.
True.
We're going to get it. It's whether you want to spend it and put that 70K for next week or another problem coming up in the next few weeks. Like, that's the question. He's got a break even of 77. He's only scored 77 once, above 77 once this year so far against Manly. I'm looking at it, trying to decide which one I want. And as a Storm fan, I kind of want to get Munster because I just want to own someone from the Storm, whereas I don't own anyone from the Storm at the moment in my team. So I kind of just want to have somebody, but I also I really want Campbell before I can't get him.
Yeah. 100%.
Whereas I think I can get Munster again next week.
Yeah, I think you can too. I just don't see with Munster's break even at the moment, unless he just does something really massive. I was like, when's the last time Munster put up like 120? You know what I mean? Like, it might happen a couple times. Last season was a bit weird because of his groin injury, but it's just been a while, and I just don't know if he's got that ceiling. And plus, the goal kicking for Campbell helps him retain a bit more of it. So there's just a lot more upside wise. So I think that's what I said before. I think that 70K is worth the extra. And it's dual too. Not like you'll play him as a fullback, but it's just handy to have just on the
Yep.
off chance you ever need it. So, yep, that's the trade in and outs. Some pretty big stuff happening this week, but I guess, man, like it's so much changes when someone as big as Turbo drops out and you've all of a sudden got all this money to spend. Like it'd be nice to kind of see, the teams diversify a little bit. But again, looking at the trades, it's not doing that great deal. It's all pretty streamlined into these guys, and but you know what, for good reason. Like everyone's got to get Jenkins in. I just think in the 5-8 game, there's only 2 that you want. So you've got the coin to get them. Just do it now while their prices are good. Fullbacks are all over the shop at the moment. Yeah, love a trade. Love a boost too. No, boost number 3. Let's go. There's one for you, Joel. Boosting.
Yeah.
What do you want now? 2?
Yeah, this week will be 2. This week will be the second.
So this is your second boost this week.
Yeah.
After you've done it. There you go. So you saved one.
Yeah.
You're still gonna.
We've got
Are you
3
going
left.
harder? Yeah, you're gonna save him.
I'm going to try not to use one for the next few weeks. Yeah, I'm not going to save until the end of the year. I don't think that worked. Obviously, last year I ended up just
Not using it at all.
Just whatever. So I'll probably, I'm going to wait, and then I'll probably start using them to set my team up throughout the Origin period and things like that, and balance that. So
yeah, no, it's fair. I don't know. I feel like I'm going to use all mine before Origin starts.
you will. You'll have all yours done by round 10.
Yeah,
is my
I would say
prediction.
so. But the thing is, like, I'd take that. Like, if my team's set up well and I can go into the buys, and you get the extra boost rounds in the buys anyway, I'd just be like, yeah, this is where to do it.
I'm
Big
just
time.
very cautious at the moment. There's so many injuries around, and I just don't want to get stuck the back end of the year with no trades left, because I think it's going to. I think it would be some really big plays this year and big rises at the back end of the year with those who have got a few trades in the back end of the game.
Yeah, it depends on, I don't know, squad depth, really, isn't it?
Which is what we couple of us did last year. We climbed crazily towards the last 3 or 4 weeks because we had a couple of trades left. So
yeah,
it was nice.
Well,
it was nice.
I climbed the most that I did the entire season with no trades left because I could stop tinkering. Stop tinkering, leave it as it is. If you're happy with where it is, I had like 350k in the bank as well with no trades to use it on. Crazy stuff. Our trades this week. I suppose we kind of touched on them. Is that what we're going straight into now? Our trades.
Yep.
Beautiful. Sweet. Well, I'll just hit off on my ones real quick. I'm going Metcalf out. Praise the Lord. I'm going Tommy Turbo out as well. And at the moment, I've got Jesse Arthurs out. I'm using a boost again. I'm getting in Campbell, Jenkins, and Pap, the 3 that we're just sort of raving on about. I have pondered the idea of not boosting, going Turbo to Jenkins and Metcalf to Campbell, and leaving Pappenhausen out of the discussion, just running the 2, and it banks me about 450k. And then I can just go into next week and just assess the situation. And I've looked at it like that. What fullback do I want? Do I want to go different? Do I want to get like Tedesco or something in, who's 4% owned? Does Latrell look insane at center? Do I roll the dice on that? Probably unlikely. I just thought about it, and I thought, I could do that. I could also do that flex trade and just put Cleary in that spot instead next week, instead of getting rid of Starling or anything else like that. But I don't know. The more I think about it, the more I feel like I'm overthinking it, and I just want to just get Pap now because I want him anyway. So yeah, I'm probably most likely going to settle on that boost. And those trades, I literally did them on Monday. As soon as lockout happened, I went 1, 2, 3, done, happy days. And then I saw obviously where the trade percentages have settled now, and I thought, far out. Everyone had the exact same idea. So yeah, I think that's where I'll settle on it. They're pretty good trades. See how we go. What about you, Joel?
I've gone finally getting rid of Duffy, Skelton, and Tommy Trbojevic, bringing in Cleary, Jenkins, and Paps. So happy with that.
Yeah, I just think you're mad for getting Cleary back after a week. At least.
Call me the Mad Hatter. Call me the Mad Hatter.
Wild times. Travis.
I am Matt Calf, get the hell out of my team. Jesse Arthurs and Turbo out for, at this point, Campbell, Jenkins, Gutho.
Nice. Because you don't have.
I'm left
do you?
150k.
Yeah,
I
you
don't
had
have
Ponga.
no.
Yeah, Ponga.
No,
and Ongi.
so I'll have Ponga and Iongi with
Yeah.
Gutho.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, if I didn't get Gutho last week, I'd be getting Gutho this week. Over that. That's solid as. Captains. Vice captains.
For me, Vice is Cleary, Captain Gutho.
Nice. Joel?
There are some good options this week, but which I
There's
can talk to
loads.
you once we've finished. But once we've just told us who we're doing, but yeah, go. So I'll give you some top 3 options, and then you can go through, or do you want to just tell you?
Yeah. I was waiting for Joel to tell me what captains were.
Mine, I'm going VC on Cleary, and then I have the C at the moment on Payne Haas.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, you can't really knock it. Haas against the Tigers, or Haas and May are playing each other. Like, it's going to be massive. I hope they don't cancel each other out a bit. That would suck. Just neither of them get any offloads off. No one's busting any tackles. They're just
Well,
cut
everyone
out
owns
entirely.
them, so we'll all suck together. But yeah.
Yeah. I'll be going VC on Nico, with a C on Gutho.
Yeah. So I think I like that. I like the VC on Nico Hines. I think is a really good play. I like the VC on Cleary, and I actually like the VC on Teddy. If you're a Teddy owner, I think they're all good ownership for the VCs, and that gets you through to Friday. And then anyone from say in terms of captains, Haas is a good captain shout. Ponga against the Bulldogs could be a good captain shout. Gutho, obviously, on Saturday afternoon against the Dragons on a dry pitch. Apparently, weather's not too bad. Is a good captain shout. Anyone else I've sort of missed, boys?
Oh, man, not really. Campbell? You reckon
Jaden Campbell against the
Finns?
Dolphins on Saturday Arvo is, another good shout out too. Weather on Saturdays. Look, there's predicted rain, but only 1 mil, and it's 40% chance. So I don't think there's going to be too much, or whether that would affect us. And that's Brisbane. I didn't have a look at the Gold Coast, to be fair. So
yeah. No, I think there's lots of options this week for captains. It's going to be pretty blown out. And you look at the percentage too. Like, I'll just go through the top 10% for vice captains. It is Nathan Cleary. He's the highest percent at the moment with 28.5. Payne Haas is number 2 at 20.4. Nico Hines at 12.4, which is surprising actually, because Nico's ownership's quite low compared to those two. And then it drops off a lot actually after those ones. I suppose everyone else after that's a solid captaincy shout, but Gutho's the number 4 at a 6.6. Terrell May, Campbell, Ponga, they kind of round it off all the way down to about 2%. So everyone kind of knows those top 3 are really the VC options. And then the biggest captain option, Payne Haas, 45% in the top 10% have him as their captain. So Joel, if you want to make ground, I don't know if you're going to do it with a Payne Haas captain, unless he kills it again. No one else does. But 45% is huge for that. But, we sort of touched on it. I was talking about it at the very beginning of this pod about just forwards and front row captaincy shouts and how bloody good they've been and how consistent. I would say you're going to definitely lock in an 80 out of a Haas as a captain. Sweet. You take the 160.
Only reason I'm doing it this week because I've been stung the last 2 weeks with my captaincies, so I'm trying to just get that stock standard. I honestly don't care if it's 80. I'm more than happy with that. I had Turbo last week and I had Ponga the week before. So
what would you be your base minimum score for VC Cleary?
120.
So you'll take a 120 loop, it has to be 120 to loop, but you'll take an 80 for a captain.
As a locked-in captain, that's where I was already going.
If you're going to take an 80 out of Haas, you take a 90.
I'd be taking 90 to 100. If Cleary gets 90 to 100, I'm taking that as a loop. Yeah. Like if you're happy to take Haas as your captain as an 80, what that doesn't make sense.
It doesn't at all.
Like why would you loop? Why would you only take a loop of Cleary as?
Because I don't like looping, boys. I'm an honest player.
But you've got Haas. But you're happy to take 80 of Haas. That doesn't make any sense.
Points.
Anyways, yep. Let's move on.
Yeah, that's a bit
of a told you to. I'm not listening to you boys anymore. So
I don't think anyone else should either. I just
The
don't know
reason
what
is
you.
I said I'd be happy with an 80, but I actually think Payne Haas will score a lot more than that. I think he'll score a couple of tries, to be honest with you. I think he'll go berserk, and I've just jinxed him. But if you want to hear my honest truth, it's going to have to take Cleary to get a fair few for me to loop him. I think that's pretty fair.
I think it's fair. It's so
very
G'd up,
fair.
Joel.
I think it is fair. I just don't get. I
I've
just
been
don't get the
questioned for
logic
everything
of.
tonight, and I've had enough. Had enough.
Oh my god!
This is
All right, keep going.
The rest of the captains, anyway, 12.4% for Gutho. Yes, get into it. I love it. I reckon he's going to score 150 points.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't loop a 150. I'd take an 80. Kalen Ponga, 8.8. Cleary, 4.8. Everyone's looping him. And then Garrick. Can you hear that? What's all that noise?
People calling for a loop.
Maybe. I just sound like it was bloody. You know that old McLean's ad where not McCain's, where the corn, they're eating the corn on the roof and it's bloody feels like the rain's dropping.
What?
I could just hear all this bloody dropping. I didn't know what it was.
Not
Sorry,
raining
you
here.
probably didn't catch it on the mic.
Yep.
Anywho, yeah, captaincy is freaking wide open this week, and I don't feel like you can do wrong with it. It's an awesome one. Should change the pack about. Did we get some questions this week?
We did.
Yes,
We did.
Yes,
I've got them here if you want me to read them out, hey?
Rip in.
Sure, yes.
James Taylor, do you think the hammer will bottom out, move to centre, and become a good cheapie?
If he moves to centre, yeah. I just don't know who they're going to put in fullback.
So he won't. If he moves to centre and becomes a cheapie, yes, I wouldn't be getting him until he gets the dual, and that won't be till round 12. So at the moment, he's played too much fullback. What would be his bottom out? I don't think he bottoms out to become a GP as such, though.
I reckon probably low 400s.
Yeah.
At worst, he's already 520.
And I'd be tempted to get him at low 400s if the role changes to the centre. The only thing is, like I know you said it on the review about that, Joel, that you want Herbie to go fullback. I just don't think that's happening. I don't think the Dolphins are going to do that. I like the play, though. I wish they did, but I don't think that's going to happen. So I don't know who would go to. I don't think they've got another fullback at the moment. He's super lucky with the injury that happened. But anyways.
Yeah. Not going anywhere at that.
No, Terry Holdsworth has asked, Iongi or Toya better sell for Jenkins? Sort of alluded to that today. But
Iongi. I'd sell Iongi first. Before Toya.
Yeah, so we spoke. I think we spoke about it a little bit. I think the Iongi down to him is 100K, whereas Toya down is 85. Like I like the Iongi trade down more just because it's worth the money, but yeah,
there's not much in it. Not
much. Interesting question. And I feel like you've got something else to play there, and maybe you've got an Arthurs or someone I think's a better trade down, in my opinion. Matthew Gibson, what cash cow to sell for Jenkins? So obviously this is going to be the thing. Toya has a tough run. Arthurs is 500K, but is he a keeper? Purdue and Tamale have low break-evens. We have Jenkins at flex for someone like Turbo. I think we've answered the rest of that. Purdue and Tamale are keeps. Tamale particularly is a definite keeper with Hopewadi's made injury. So don't even think about that. Purdue just ride what he is doing because he's now just started to get attacked. So I think we've answered all that question other than the point of at the end that says, we have Jenkins at flex for someone like Turbo.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. I was pondering doing in my trades briefly and about it anyway, because you can just do that. You can, if you're not decided yet and you've got all these dudes that are still going up in cash, that's half the reason we're not going anywhere, is because 5 out of 7 of our center wings, if you've got that many cheapies, are going up in coin and they're not done yet. And that's why, you just sort of feel dirty about trading Toya away before he's really made the money he's expected to. I don't mind it. I think going Turbo straight to Jenkins, if he's your option and you're not committed on any of the others and you're not settled and locked in, I feel like you can give yourself that chance. Take the 600K that you'll bank out of it, go into next week with a war chest, a boost, and just go, geez, I can set up, I can go 1, 2, 3, get 3 guns in potentially, and know what you're expecting a bit more. If you're a bit uneasy about what cheapie to drop off yet, because you are jumping off him. Even like I wouldn't say he's not a keeper, because that was at the beginning of the question: is Arthur's a keeper? He's not. He's made his money. I think he's a valid trade, but you can still definitely play him each week, and I still feel like it only takes one 90+ game for him to make more money again. So yeah, I'd go Arthur's out of all of them. Or if not certain, go Turbo out and just wait.
Joel, agreed.
Yep, I agree.
There's next question then, kind of similar. This is the first time I've seen players looking at using the flex as a filler for a bank trade, e.g. most are using it as a downgrade of Turbo to Jenkins to boost other areas of their teams. Do you like this strategy? And then I will just go up a little bit. To follow on from Jason's comment above, should we be looking at flex as more of another premium elite front row forward or 2RF slot? Slap a May/Haas-like player in there, bank the safe 80 points and reduce the fullback roller coaster between Hammies/MCL/terrible four. For instance, we are all keen on Ili Katoa, can bank a pretty safe 60 as a floor and has 100-point games in him, versus say a Pappy, similar price, has 40 floor and 130 highs, a high-risk captain option, so unlikely to get more than a VC unless on an absolute tear. I put them together because they're very similar. Yeah. What do you reckon, Jesse and Joel?
Well, I've got Eli Katoa in my second row, so I'm not putting him in flex. I like it. Honestly, I don't think it needs to be locked into fullback. I don't think you really have to lock the flex into any one position. I think you can do a lot more with it than that. Go where the points are. You know what I mean? Go where the cash and the points are. If you're using it this week to get Turbo to a Jenkins, to then trade that to anything else that you want to shuffle, you can. That's the whole point. The flex is sort of open the doors to having multiples. You know what I mean? Like you can get Cleary in your flex if you've got a couple there. You can get another front rower if you want 7 of them, and you just think, shit, I've only got so many second rower jewels to flog them in there. I just want to. You can do anything, so it doesn't necessarily need to be. This is what the flex is for. I love it. I think even if the center wings, like at the moment, there's so many center wings that I want, but I'm not ready to trade any of them yet. And if I thought there was an opportunity to go, Herbie Farnworth, for example, I'm not going to be able to get him in my center wing right now. Perfect. You can still get him. Just put him in your flex. Wait 2 weeks before a center wing is absolutely capped out. Trade him off and move Herbie back up and reshuffle that position. That flex can be anything at any time throughout the year. So, yeah, the strategy is 100% there for it. Constantly move that thing around if you can. But yeah, it all starts with, I suppose it starts with one. Where do you go? Is it your money maker for this week? And then, yeah, you start moving things. But yeah, I like seeing different random players in the flex. I think it's very valid.
Joel?
Yeah, I agree. I feel like the front row forward and like in those big forwards is a good safe play in that flex at the moment, while the points are so up and down, as he was sort of mentioning. I feel like in a way we might start seeing a few risks getting made with that flex position in the next few weeks. I reckon Walsh might become a very key player in that, and people might see runs and stuff and know that if Walsh can find some sort of form that he can have those weeks where he'll get a 100+ score, and in the flex there's no real risk involved with having him there, because if he shits the bed, so to speak, he's not going to be basically in that sort of score anyway. So I personally, I'm thinking on the run. At the moment, Pappy is my flex, but I'll see what happens.
I don't like, so, and I'll give my thoughts here in terms of what my initial thoughts. My initial thoughts were the flex is gold. Let's get 3 fullbacks. I need to get 3 fullbacks. Start of the year and of that where we didn't have enough cheapies, or I didn't have that sort of option, so I couldn't get that. And Iongi kind of being named, and that we all thought, we've got to get him in. Gone are those thoughts. Now it's forwards. It's high. It's big point getters. Hines. I can see Hines in that sort of flex spot. What I don't like, though, in terms of my own opinion, is a cheapie in the flex spot. I think this is an opportunity here for so many big time points, right? And I'd be prioritizing that extra person on the field. Now, whilst it is 18 and you still only get your best 17 score, we all know there's someone on our list that's not going to score very well. So to as many potential of that 18 that I can get that's going to have a high score is what I'm aiming for. So I don't particularly like having the bank trade as what James sort of mentioned before. I would be prioritizing putting someone in that flex that's a gun or you want to have that eventually you shift up and then put someone in there once the fullbacks start to work themselves out. Which is kind of what you said at the end there, Jesse. But yeah, that's just my thoughts.
Yep, like it.
Daniel Hulston has asked why the shift in scores, i.e. front rowers scores this year compared to previous years. Do you think this will continue throughout the year? Have you changed your strategy because of this? And will the sin bin crackdown slow the big guys' scores this weekend?
We spoke about this question kind of at the very beginning with the shift in the front row scores. I don't know what's doing it. I don't know why. I love to see it though, and it did. It honestly, round two, after round one, I immediately shifted my strategy and I said I need front rowers. If they're going to do this, and that was my round two trade. I traded in Tino and Haas in round two, straight off the jump, and it was freaking amazing. Obviously, hindsight, it's worked out really well. But yeah, no, it's definitely the strategy. I would say I like it. I think the forwards are going to continue to do it as well. I don't see maybe over the course of the year when a bit more fatigue and injuries and more games under the belt, and things just slow down and the backs really pick up, and you see fullbacks and wingers start banging out massive games again. You probably see a bit normality come to the league as far as Supercoach scoring. But I don't know, man. For now, I'm going to ride the high and bank these massive front rower scores. Loving it.
Yep, agreed.
Yeah, just to answer his last bit, the Simbin crackdown.
Yeah, what's
I
that
don't know
about?
if it's going to slow the big guys. I reckon it might help them in a way if it's not them getting to the sin bin, obviously, and we're losing points because of that. Open the field a bit more. The right players.
Meat
You
pies.
never know. Payne Haas, May against one or two player less defensive lines. Goodness me, I see tries and tries.
Yeah.
Two more questions. Do you think Jay Hughes could be a better player than Ian Cleary? It's my first year playing Supercoach. Before the season started, I was more keen on Hughes. Had Cleary and traded him out last week, thinking of waiting a week or so to get Cleary back, but thinking maybe just wait for Hughes. I've got Reynolds, Jay Campbell, and Munster, so just need one more half.
Yeah. I was talking to you about this right before the pod, I think, Trav.
Nah, me.
Was it you, Joel? You, Joel. Yeah, 100%. I was like, I might even just fade Cleary for the year. And I'll just wait till Hughes has come down a little bit more. Because Hughes will play all through Origin. Hughes was the hero last year. I'm down for that. Genuinely, I really am. I just want to see how that goes. I'd wait till Hughes comes down a bit more in coin, though. But yeah, no, I see it. I see the point. We kind of touched on it. You get 5 weeks out of Cleary and then probably lose him for another 6, providing he doesn't get injured. And you're playing a lot of in and out trades with him. And I love Cleary, but yeah, longevity. I think Hughes has probably got it under him. I'm a fan.
I am a massive fan too. He's currently 805 in it with 127 break even. I kind of hope he plays this week and that comes down because I do really want to get him in. He is certainly someone I've got on my radar that I want to have for the rest of this year. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 doesn't play 12. 13, 14 doesn't play 15, 16, 17, 18. So there is a bit of an awkward buy through this origin period with 12 and 15. But yeah, he's certainly someone that I want to make deal with. Geez, you're loaded. You've got Reynolds, Campbell, and Munster. He's doing all right. Maybe he looks at a Reynolds up to Hughes at some point instead of that fourth player. I don't think you need to have all 4 spots filled.
Depending on how the halves tick off too, like you can always put him in your flex. That was what you were saying about a Hines in your flex. Like if he's going to keep Reynolds, I'd probably look to. That was half the reason I never wanted Reynolds in the first place. Is I'd always be looking to upgrade him at some point. I feel like you could ever lock in Reynolds and say I'm going to keep him for the season. But Hughes, I reckon you definitely can. Like if I had Hughes, I wouldn't be looking elsewhere. And the whole problem there's always been between Cleary and Hines as the number 1 and 2. Where does Hughes come into play? I think Hughes is a lot more of an option now than he ever has been. And yeah, with a flex, you can have all 3 if you did want them. But Yeah, I'd probably, now that I've got Munster and Campbell and Hines, I kind of just need that one more. And if it's either going to be Cleary or Hughes, at this stage I'm leaning more in towards Hughes long term.
I'm not as big on the Hughes play, to be honest with you. I don't think his scores would be anywhere near like they were last year because of circumstances. Munster's there again.
Yeah.
The big three are all there fit at the moment, so they all share their points, and we've discussed that multiple times so far throughout the start of the season and in the preseasons. So for me, I'd be all over Hughes a lot more if one or two of those big guns fall for a few weeks. But for now, while all four of them would be playing when Hughes is back, I'm not for him. He scored 71 and 51 so far, so it's not two scores that aren't making me jump for him.
71 in 60 minutes. And then 51 against Penrith with a broken hand. So,
not
yeah.
in that.
Thanks, Cleary. Yeah, good. Yeah, I agree. I do agree. I think it's all valid points, and I think he's definitely on the radar of people, and he should be. Definitely should be. Sure. Last question, Tom Shearer. Cleary to drop huge in price, hasn't lit the world on fire as of yet. His team hasn't helped him. Should play well against the Cows. With a huge BE, surely 100% buy him for match against Dolphins. Plays better under pressure, in my opinion. For the Panthers, not New South Wales in brackets, but has a couple hard games for next few rounds. I think we've spoken about that pretty amply.
Yeah. I don't think his fixture run's very difficult. Between the Cows, the Dolphins, and the Roosters, they're probably the three that you want to target Cleary for. And if you want to get him, if you don't have him, you'd be getting him in for the Dolphins game, I would say. Because he'll take a hit, and then essentially you're just riding that last game, that 2 out of his average. You might take a slight hit, but I don't think it'll be very much to worry about. He'll make it back in 2 more weeks anyway.
I actually think Cleary's run's really good. Cowboys, Dolphins, Roosters, Manly, Broncos, Cowboys again. Then he's got that round 11 bye. Won't play round 12. Probably doesn't play round 13. Then comes on for West for 14. Then has round 15 bye. Then he's got New Zealand, Bulldogs, Para. I think his run is very good. It's just whether Cleary plays and how he plays.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's the problem.
That's it from what I can see there.
Beauty. Anything else?
Is that it, boys?
Yeah, mate.
I think that's it.
Love it.
Go and do your trades, guys. Let us know. Let us know in the comments what you end up doing this week. If you have anyone out of the top 10 that you're big on, you're high on, give us the reasons for why you are doing what you're doing, because you know us by now, we love pods as well. So we're always listening to some pod plays. It's always a good way to go about things. But that's it, boys. A huge one tonight. We did predict it from the start. We mentioned it, but plenty of talking points. I believe next week will be a very big show as well. That POD word is getting mentioned early already. So that's it. Thank you. Thank you for listening. Good luck this weekend. Let's get back into the green arrow, please. So that's it. Trav, thank you. Jesse and listeners, again, subscribe, all the like. You know what to do. Good night.
Thanks, boys.